Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Westeros. We are coming at you live here on Twitch and the Shadowcasters Network, bringing you another episode of A Sea of Spears, our live stream of Song of Ice and Fire RPG by Green Ronin. I hope everybody's having a safe and happy holiday season, whatever holidays you like, even if the only holiday you appreciate is getting holiday pay at work or a day off of work. Good on you. Hope everyone's doing well, traveling safely, all that good stuff. A quick warning, one of our own is not. Erica is under the weather today, so she's going to be AFK throughout the stream and just kind of resting up, drinking lots of water, all that good stuff. So we're going to kind of cover for that a little bit with Bela also kind of being AFK. But that's easy because she got hit really hard by a really big dude a lot of times last week or last episode.
True.
So yeah, Bela's just resting up. It's fine. So this episode, we've got a lot of role playing to do. We're going to do less role playing with Bela because Bela is asleep. But the rest of us are here. The rest of us are happy to be here. Everybody's happy that the trial is done. And House Nymerian has been found innocent of all charges by way of doing terrific violence to prove that you are not murderers, because that's kind of how the court system works in Westeros. So you got accused of murdering small folks, and you showed yourself innocent by murdering Adam Dannett. And then you got accused of murdering Adam Dannett,
I didn't
uh,
murder anybody.
and you proved yourselves innocent of murdering Adam Dannett by murdering Archibald Ironwood and the eldest Kettleblack brothers. So like whatever, like that's how things go. There's no Judge Judy here. It is Judge King Robert Baratheon, and by God, he likes his blood. So last episode, of course, was that climactic trial by seven, a historic event. It has been 90 years since the last trial of seven, which was the famous tourney at Ashford Meadow. Everybody should read up on those by checking out the Hedge Knight stories. But this episode, we're kicking off a couple days later. Everyone's trying to heal up physically and emotionally from the beatings that y'all took this week. Let's start with the least hurt person here, which going physically and emotionally, I think it's safe to say that that's Reyna right now. So how is the eldest doing?
The eldest is doing awesomely. We have emerged victorious. We have traversed the gauntlet and emerged at the other side. We have been gifted with riches for winning various things, not just duels of honor and trials of seven. Um, and we
Ironically, I didn't have the headset. I had the other two.
I did not participate in the trial because I was the weakest link. So I had a champion who was Sir Beric Dondarrion. And uh, hopefully he's remained my champion for the next couple of days because I intend to use him. uh, because he has served me well, and I wish him to continue to do so for as long as that happens to happen.
Alaras might have an herb for that.
So hopefully that's what she's been doing. I have also, spoken with my youngest brother quite often about these gifts that have been commissioned for our other teammates in the trial by seven, and we have also, yes, Rusty, we have also arranged for another wagon and some men to help us to travel back home to Wyvern's Rest because we are traveling with quite a lot of wealth. Uh, we are taking with us numerous bonus people, NPCs. Uh, we are also sadly returning the remains of our cousin Will of Will, who was killed in the trial of seven, and we will be returning those home for him. And we also have with us his sword, his Valyrian sword that belongs to the House Will. That is in Bela's possession, which is locked in her room with her, where she is holed up after fleeing the Maester's tent. She actually insisted on standing vigil with Adam over our cousin Will's remains. Because of this, it has worsened her condition. She came down with a fever, and now she is incognito. She is being quiet.
Yeah, Bela essentially like shoved and bit her way free of the Maester's tent when they tried to stop her from standing vigil. Luke was already out cold, or he probably would have had her back. But yeah, Bela insisted on standing vigil over their fallen cousin Will, who she had particularly established some rapport with this week. And then she got pretty sick the next day. She holed herself up in her rooms in the Greentree, and everybody knows that she's got her spear in there too. So like nobody's trying to batter the door open or anything like that. So they've just been kind of taking it easy. She has occasionally emerged for food and drink, and then they're just kind of letting her sleep because nobody else wants to feel the wyvern's sting by way of Sunfire, that Valyrian steel spear, or now Scorpion, the Valyrian steel sword of her cousin, because they're like, oh shit, she's got two. So yeah, nobody's trying to pick fights with Bela. So she's taking it easy up there. But we do also have another physically uninjured member of House Nymerian, and that's going to be Adam. So how's Adam doing, Ash?
Adam's doing all right. He is certainly happy for the vindication of the house, though sad at the loss of our cousin. He's been making a fuss of his siblings, who are more injured, and grudgingly paying up for the services of one Lynn Corbray, and yeah, like stood vigil for Will of Will, and yeah, has kind of been staying out of trouble mostly, I think, lest we get stuck here longer answering more trials.
So yeah, everyone's been kind of doing their part in getting ready for the trip home is basically the phase that we're in. For some people, getting ready for the trip home is resting up so that the internal injuries will not be exacerbated by travel, which brings us, of course, to Lucaris, the eldest son of House Nymerian, played by Robert. So what kind of shape was Luke in at the end of that fight?
You know, Luke could have been in worse shape, but he could have been in a lot better shape as well. We have a good plan, good strategy going into the 7x7. But as they say, the classic saying, I think it goes back down to the great, is everybody has a plan until Nathan Lucas hits him with Morningstar. That's the exact quote from Nathan Freeze.
That's exactly how it works, yes.
It's the ancient wisdom.
So somewhere along the point where I'm looking at my shattered shield and he's swinging a mace in my face. Morningstar, I should have gone for the rhyme. That was terrible. The Morningstar in my face. I realized that plan, it wasn't working so much. But we won, and you'll all just have to check out that episode to see how. Somehow we won. And Luke is pretty hurt. He's not as hurt as he could have been. Like I said, he went into his full defense mode and began to just focus on surviving about midway through the fight, and he did not take the injuries he could have taken, but he still has at least one wound and 2 injuries per game mechanics. So he's been laid up in the Maester's tent where they have been plying him with wine, probably infused with milk of the poppy to keep him down.
So yeah, I mean, that's fair. When you get in a fight with somebody that's got about 50 pounds on you, you're allowed to kind of turtle up, and it's fine. You did stay alive.
When we finally saw the picture of Nathan Lucas, just imagine fighting Gaston, but with like a Morningstar.
I mean, he's not the Gastoniest, of the knights that you guys have run into this week. But yeah, he's definitely a big burly
I
dude.
mean that only through the positive physical aspects of Gaston.
Right. Right.
So yeah, like, and you did stay alive against him, which of course proved your innocence in the eyes of the gods.
Therefore, we
and
could
King
have
Robert.
murdered small folks. And more importantly, I think in character, he admitted that Orton probably took one of the shields that framed us.
Yeah,
A feat
so
I appreciated for. So I like this guy. You know, we're bros. We're night bros.
We're not.
He's a little broier, but we had to fight to the death, and I gave him a nice little scar at the end, so he remember it. But I left him alive because he fought honorably. He did what he had to do. He was as much a victim of this as we were.
Yeah, that's true.
He wasn't the only one.
So speaking of the Lugasai, or the Lugai, or the Lugases, the Lugasarians, they have vacated the Greentree Inn. All three of them had been hanging out in the Greentree. You may recall they all had rooms. Their rooms were emptied prior to the trial of 7, and his squire, Josman Peckleton, has occasionally been making hurried return trips, getting a few more of their belongings that Lyle Brewer, the owner and proprietor, have been holding on to. You may remember Peck also got you that letter, Raina, that kind of cracked the case for you after the trial. So he seems like a good kid, but he's been trying to kind of pick up after them all and get any belongings that were left behind. Nathan Lugas has retired to a tent in the pavilion, perhaps with some of his Stormlander neighbors, just kind of licking his wounds. Orton Lugas was escorted away by the Kingsguard and is currently languishing in the black cells, awaiting the next wandering crow to take him north. Marita Lucas got a very stern talking to by Nathan, even in public, so you suspect that he might be looking into shipping her off to be a silent sister or something like that. It sounded very much like the blunt wrath of House Lugas was going to fall on her shoulders for multiple poisons. So they might not have been proven, but they were certainly proven that it was not you. And it sounds like House Lugas is going to be squirreling her away somewhere uncomfortable, and no longer trying to marry her off. So
and very specifically, one of the reasons Luke gave for keeping Nathan alive was he needed somebody honorable to run that house.
Right. Instead of it
sounds like he's good house, which is good to hear.
Yeah. So as Lugai go, you could do worse than Nathan. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out in the long run. But it did also free up some rooms in the Greentree. So the lady, Alyssane Mormont, and her squire, little Robert Frey, have moved in because they know that they're leaving with you guys in a few days. So they've moved in and are kind of just staying at the Greentree, and little Robert has been assisting you with errand running and squire work. Oris gave him some lessons on taking better care of armor, for instance. And you've seen Robert try the lift the barrel method. He's being a good sport about it, but he still mostly like rolls the barrel full of sand that scours off rust and all that. He's doing his best, but he's not quite able to make it part of a daily workout routine the way Oris does. But yeah, so little Robert has kind of stepped in as a squire for the lot of you. The other room, of course, has been occupied by the Lady Iris Dannett, who has had her marriage rights, and as such, the fate of House Dannett itself handed to House Nymerian. She has kept to her quarters as much as she could. It's not quite the same way that Bela has. She hasn't locked the door and threatened maimings on anybody, but she's certainly been keeping to herself. You suspect also, kind of out of shame at being here in the Greentree, where, of course, she was working until the other day, right? Here, and even more scandalously, at the Jade Spring, the brothel across the street. It does seem, from what you heard from Lyle Brewer, who's been fucking flabbergasted by all this, because the word got to him. It's like, I had no idea she was highborn. I assumed she was someone's, peasant-born lady in waiting, so she had them good manners. So I had her serving drinks and such. And it sounds as though, from what you've heard, even if Luke interviews some of the other gals working at the Jade Spring, she was a hostess at the Jade Spring rather than an employee, in that she was there to serve drinks and be polite and basically serving as like a waitress. So like she was a waitress at a titty bar, not a dancer, right? That sort of thing. So yeah, she did have a classier job at the Jade Spring, but of course it's still really shameful for a highborn lady to be there, But yeah, so she's just kind of stayed in her quarters. She has been very carefully polite. I know all of you, especially Luke, have been trying to reassure her that she is safe now. She'll be treated honorably and all that sort of thing. She has been very kind of guardedly polite in response to all of that. She's been like,
one thing I want to add, Rusty, is the moment Luke is lucid, he will offer her his quarters in the Red Keep if she's more comfortable there. He'll obviously stay in the Greentree, but
right.
She will politely decline, with a resigned sigh that kind of says like, I need to get used to being around you guys, so yeah,
she would have sent up to an intermediary definitely as well. So
yeah, so she seems content to stay with you lot, but still kind of keeping you at arm's reach for now. The other kind of notable NPC that's been in the party, of course, is Oris, who was recently knighted. He's been showing a bit more initiative in the days since. He only had a couple injuries to show from fighting the eldest Kettle Black. And because you guys have kind of been steered clear of all controversy, he's been rather boldly going his own way here in King's Landing, except for occasionally helping out with preparations for the trip home and that sort of thing. You know that he's been making some trips to the Street of Steel and upgrading and repairing his armor. He's been going for a ride on his new horse. He got a badass new destrier that he wants to get some practice on. So he hasn't been like defiantly going solo and like sneeringly avoiding you guys or anything. But he has been kind of quietly making it clear he is not your squire waiting around at your beck and call anymore. He has still been staying at your pavilion tent and looking over the wagons and caring for the horses some and dealing with some of that prep, because as a hedge knight, he's more used to travel prep than the rest of you. So he's been still helping out with that. But it hasn't quite been the same Oris that's just kind of patiently waiting around the pavilion tent for someone to need something.
Definitely, Luke's interactions with him are now that of an equal, as opposed to the bastard squire they were with. It's very clear there's a difference there socially.
Yeah, so he hasn't been a dick about it or whatever. But you have also occasionally heard a few of the Jade Spring girls giggling about him visiting again. So it sounds like between horse care, new saddles, barding, wagon stuff, armor, and the Greentree and Jade Spring, he seems to be kind of getting King's Landing out of his system while he has this money, which is perhaps a pretty understandable result for an 18-year-old that just got knighted and given kind of a king's ransom, and who's about to go home at the end of spring break.
And expects his life to end when he gets there.
So that's kind of what they've all been up to. Luke has been transferred back to the Greentree. Today is our in-game time. You guys are planning to leave tomorrow, so we've kind of got the day's role play to take care of with kind of final wrapping up and that sort of thing. So, what PC wants to take it from here with a particular plan that they've got for any particular NPC they want to go hang out with?
I'm looking at Adam.
Same.
Yeah, okay.
You have
if no-
stuff you need to say to people.
And I do want to make it clear, Luke would have spoken to Adam at various points between this, so
Well,
on
go
your
ahead.
shoulders now, little bro.
What?
We would have spoken with the stuff we had previously discussed before now in game, so
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is, so you're gonna have to tell me.
stuff with Alaras, etc.
Oh, right. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So people know, I guess, like Alaras has been quite circumspect about his motives and so on.
If
Do we
you
want
want
to?
to start with coming back and telling you what happened, that works for me.
And perhaps we could also remind viewers who Alaras is and what those motives are that are so frustratingly vague.
Yeah. Well, Alaras, I think, as Reina managed to find out, is actually
He's the maester.
not is not just a maester's apprentice, but is in fact one of the sand snakes.
A cousin.
Luke does not know this.
Yeah.
Luke just knows it's a maester's apprentice who Raina
Yeah.
hit it off with.
Yeah. Well, I guess that raises the question of whether Reina told anyone.
I haven't done it in game, mostly because we've had a bunch of shit going on.
Yeah.
But if I know you're going to speak to Alaras, then yes, I will tell you that in fact Alaras is our cousin.
All right then, let's just do a flashback.
Yeah.
This is as Luke is getting transferred back to the Greentree. He has explained that he wants you to look, speak to the Maester's apprentice Alaras to look into any exotic associate medicines that might be able to help your uncle Monfred and your
Medicines
ailing
or-
cousin.
Medicines.
Yes, the ailing heir to House Valerian and Driftwood.
But from the face I just got, I don't mean I want him to poison our young cousin. I mean like magical, supernatural medicines as well.
Right. Stuff that
Right,
might be
okay.
considered more
Okay, because
voodoo.
that sounded really worrying for a
Yeah,
moment.
when you looked at me that way, I wanted to clarify. It wasn't like medicine in quotes and like fucking off the kid, but like, there's all these rumors about stuff that happens, and there's these witches, and there's fucking
So
magicians that claim to have powers. And
So you mean I should make it clear that sorcery is very much on the table?
if they can do it, yeah.
Right.
Remember, as far as what concerned, sorcery is either fake or a real thing that's hard to get a hold of. Luke's opinion is very much that it might be real. We have coin. Let's try it.
Well, sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic, so.
Right.
Well, if Bones comes out of the tricorn, I'm also approving of that. He will have to take some little dragon tongue with him, but
So, Reina, are there any questions you want me to or is there anything you want me to ask Alaras on your behalf?
No. Alaras and I have had quite enough time to discuss our various concerns. You should tell our
Really?
cousin.
Our cousin.
Right. Yes.
It's-
Sorry.
Are you,
Take a look at Alaras when you're close to them.
I mean, I did feel a familiarity, but I wasn't able to place it. How is he related to us?
Yeah, she's a cousin on our Martel side.
She,
It's
Sorry, hang on.
Cinderella, who you probably have not seen since you were but a babe, but that is our cousin Cinderella.
I thought.
She was a
Crikey.
girl. Yes, she's a girl.
All right. I suppose. Thank you for this information.
Does it
I'm
help?
not sure what to do. I'm not sure what to do with it, but thank you.
I think that they may not be able to take a lot of risks just because they don't want to expose
I think-
themselves to too.
Oh, I'm so baffled.
Yeah, I don't know why she's doing this either, but she's really quite enjoying it. Shows no sign of wanting to go back.
Well, who am I to judge? I suppose. All right then. I will go and speak to them then, and I will try not to babble as much as I am right now.
So,
Remember, there are no woman maesters, so there's only Alaras.
Well, I suppose that it's understandable that one who wants to learn such things but doesn't fit the criteria might do something like that. So that's
I have a theory about why they're doing this, by the way.
really like what?
Sorella could never stand for there to be secrets that she didn't know.
Well, I mean, I can absolutely understand that. I'm not a big fan of them either. Though that's quite a length to go to just to learn some secrets.
They don't share.
You know what? If it makes her happy, then fine. as long as she's got a plan for if she gets discovered, then
She always has an extraction plan.
Well, it's good to always have an extraction plan.
Right.
Right. So, goodness me.
Whatever
So-
you want to talk to her about, it's fine. I think I've talked their ear off.
Right. Okay. That's fine. I will give her your regards.
Thank you.
as a reminder for viewers, Alaras has been a young maester's apprentice with a Dornish lilt to his voice that has been serving Grand Maester Pycelle throughout the week and that the party has occasionally interacted with. Their cousin is Sorella Sand, one of the Sand Snakes, the bastard daughters of Prince Oberyn Martell, who is, in kind of a Dornish kin tradition, the cousin of our young scions of House Nymerian. Prince Doran Martell of Dorne refers to their grandfather as Uncle Maekar. He kind of was Prince Doran Martell's kind of chaperone through his young adulthood and stuff like that. So as a sign of affection, and because House Nymerian was founded by members of House Martell, there is a blood relation there. They're not actually like first cousins or anything. But the young scions of House Nymerian did occasionally play in the water gardens with the eldest of the Sand Snakes and that sort of thing. And Sorella was one of those cousins that they splashed around with in the water gardens. She would often babble on about the history of Dorne, you know, when you were talking and that sort of thing. And she always liked secrets and stories. And it seems that she's been deciding to follow in the footsteps of her infamous father, Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper, who, of course, studied the Citadel and forged a half dozen chains for maester training. So, partway through the melodrama of the week, Reyna learned that that was the case, that Sorella was Alaras playing some sort of joke on the world.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. Adam will go and have a word with Alaras.
Alaras is available there in the Red Keep. You could combine this with a trip to also gather like the last of Lucerys's belongings from his chambers there, you know, so saving time and gas money by combining shopping trips. But yeah, he's been scuttling around in the shadow of Grandmaster Pycelle, who scuttles around the Red Keep, Pycelling it up. But you're able to come across Alaras handily enough.
Alaris, I'm glad to run into you. I was wondering if we might talk.
Of course, it would seem you've already started.
I wanted to ask you about a medicine, sort of. You may know that our uncle, Lord Montfort, Valerian's son, is ill, and the Maesters so far have not been able to come up with a solution. They've not been able to cure him. I was wondering if you might be able to look into perhaps some of the things that might not have been considered by the Maesters. I don't know how much truth there is in any of the tales about the sort of the more unconventional things, but we wanted to investigate whether there's anything to the old magics or the more unusual treatments from the East.
Well, as one that had to sit through insufferably long conclaves of multiple Grandmaster Pycelles attempting to outdo one another in the creativity of their proffered solutions to a bevy of medical issues that plague every lord and lady in Westeros, I can assure you they've already mentioned quite many conventional suggestions, but I don't know that anyone has suggested seeking out ASOIAF witches or the like. I'll certainly inquire with Grandmaster Pycelle about it. Lord Monteris has, of course, been in fairly regular contact with Grandmaster Pycelle as the ranking maester in anywhere near, the homes of House Valerian. But I don't know that sorcery has come up, but perhaps the blood of the dragon would be more amenable to such things.
That was rather what we were thinking, and if that is if it is in any way plausible or available, we would very much like to know about that. We want to help if we can.
Of course, your cousin Monteris is a sickly youth, but it's only natural that kin should care for one another. And if anyone can get a hold of mysterious ASOIAF witches, I'm sure that it is the Lord of Tides and the Lord of House Valerian himself. So I'm sure that should such suggestions be made, if anyone can get a hold of Driftmark.
Yes, I know, and I'm sure that everything that can be suggested to him by the Maesters has been, but they have less reason to care, I suppose. So I was asking not just as their cousin, but as yours.
Ah, your sister told you, hmm?
Yes. I confess I'm very curious. Well, as are you, clearly, or you wouldn't be here.
It's a fascinating way to learn things.
Yes, although risky.
What will the bunch of old men do?
Well, I mean, I imagine it wouldn't go very well if they found out. I hope you have a plan for if that happens.
By the time Grandmaster Pycelle finished expressing his shock, I would be halfway to Dorne.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I have grievous news to
Yes.
express.
Right. So is it just to
How
Fucking hell, Robert.
dare you
just whenever you're ready?
use? Sorry.
Put up. I knew he'd crack eventually.
There's only so far my British politeness will take me.
Interrupt.
Right.
That's just the rest of the session now.
Yep.
So is it just the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake, or do you have a specific goal in mind?
The interesting thing about learning at the Citadel, and here Alaras kind of toys with a few of the Maester's links that he's already got, is that the learning never ends.
Right. Well, I assume your parents know where you are.
Mother doesn't worry, and father has some inkling.
Right. All right. I'm impressed. Good luck to you.
And to you. And then here suddenly Alaras kind of straightens up and looks very formal, and like the whole tone shifts and once again becomes Alaras. Yes, of course, we'll have another small shipment of milk of the poppy delivered to that wastrel brother of yours. Is there anything else that I can help you with, young lord?
No, thank you, Alaras.
And you hear some footsteps of like
Yeah.
a servant scurrying by.
No, thank you. I'm also here to collect the last of Luke's things, so I'll be on my way, and I hope that we have occasion to see each other again sometime.
I am certain that we will. I am assigned to Grandmaster Pycelle for the foreseeable future, which can be indeterminably long, like everything else anywhere near Grandmaster Pycelle. But it would seem he has grown accustomed to having an apprentice at hand to lift and carry anything anywhere near him. So I'll be here in the city for at least some time.
All right, well, stay safe.
And you, watch the roads back home. The Red Mountains aren't as safe as they once were, and they were never very safe.
No, they were not. Thank you. Right,
And he breaks character just enough to give you a playful wink before turning and scurrying off in that maester scurry with robes rustling just right, and that sort of thing.
Cool. Well, I'll go about my business getting Luke's accoutrements, whatever he's left behind.
It's a couple shirts just crumpled on the floor, and
So that's where they went.
there's a collection of them under his bed. It's a nest.
Yep. Yeah, I imagine Adam's quite sort of fastidious and neat, and will probably be quite offended by that. Be like, "You filth pig."
So yeah, you're able to grab,
Here I
another.
am fighting to the death, and now I'm being judged.
So another sack or two of his goods, and you're able to make your way back to the Greentree.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one that was kind of a group effort. Who wants to go next with any particular NPC visitations?
I'd like to talk to little Robert Frey before we get too far.
Go for it.
He is scurrying about, frantically leaving the Greentree with a single horseshoe in his hands. Like he went up to the Lady Alisane's chambers and left there with one horseshoe, and he's making his way down the stairs and darting towards the.
Robert.
Yes, milady. I mean, my lord.
May I speak to you for a moment?
I mean, sir. Yes, Sir Lucaris.
Please, no
And he gives you
formalities.
a bow and
do you mind if I ask a favor of you, young lad?
it is my honor to serve the knights of the retinue with which I am honored to travel.
Excellent. This will not be much. I have several purchases that being made, and I think it would be best if you were the one who did them. I can give you coin.
I would need that, yes.
Of course. I also would have you do one more favor, a more knightly favor. I'm not sure if it's something you're up to, though.
I can try.
The Lady Janet, she has gone through much.
I've heard.
Someone such as myself, with my various reputations, probably does not do much to put her at ease. I would like you
I have
to be
heard.
her go-between. That's not a good answer. A fair one, though. A fair one.
Of course, I will speak to her when I can.
Yes, I want the lady to be put at ease. I want her to know anything she needs will be given, but I don't want to frighten the lady. So if you would please provide your services to her, and several of the items on this list I want you to buy are going to be to benefit her as well.
I have to buy things for a girl?
Yes. A lady.
Okay.
There's nothing. Go ahead.
He is not going to pick out things as stylish as Adam would. You have picked the wrong guy for this job.
You know, that's fair. It's fine. Mostly what I need to provide for her is a stylish carriage. So she can travel in privacy and in comfort.
Oh,
Other than that, I want you just to offer yourself as a go-between her and us. I feel like she will be less on edge if you talk to her.
Oh, yeah. Nobody threatened by me, sir.
That was my hope and goal, yes.
Yeah, I think he is the only person we've met so far who is less threatening than Adam.
Do you have the list right now? I need to get
do.
this horseshoe back.
I do, but hold on with your horseshoe. Just 1 second. I want you to understand that what I charge you with taking care of her, you are to be her advocate. You are not to be my squire by any means. You are not to put our needs before hers. You are to be her advocate. Can you stand up to a knight or another noble?
I'd serve the Lady Alisane, and if some knight gave me any guff, she'd stop him.
Well, hopefully nobody will give you any guff whatsoever. I would assume, and I will talk to her as well, and you can as well. I do recommend you do. I don't believe Lady Allison will have any issue with your charge taking care of the Lady Janet. Again, advocating for her.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I just listen. This horseshoe, the aurochs looked mighty grouchy when I only brought 3 this morning.
Oh, you're doing work for him.
He's showing me how to tend a horse more proper, like, and I only brought 3 horseshoes, and he says I might as well have brought none, and he's begging sir's pardon, but he's a good deal bigger than sir. And his eyes are darting to the door like he's kind of pee-pee dancing this whole time that you've stopped him. He's like back and forth from one foot to the other.
I put a hand on. I put a reassuring, but also just a brotherly hand on his shoulder. And if he ordered you to do something that would put the Lady Janet at risk or uncomfortable, what would you do?
I'd probably ask Lady Alisane what to do because because one night would tell me something else, and then another night would tell me something else. So I'd go check on the lady that I swore my oath to first.
You know what? I can accept that. I'm gonna extend a hand to shake it and give him the coin he needs to purchase what he's gonna purchase.
He
When you
takes
get
it.
back, please introduce yourself to the Lady Janet and let her know you are to be her charge and will advocate for her any way she needs.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
And kind of as that goes by, I want to go talk to. I'll decide to talk to Lady Mormon, just make sure she's okay with everything.
He takes off at a sprint as soon as you're done with him. He's desperate to make up for lost time. So he darts out the door, and were you checking on the Lady Iris or the Lady Alisane?
Lady Alice, I just want to make sure it's okay that I'm going to check with her, make sure it's okay that I'm charging him with such a duty.
Yeah, I got just enough crunch from you to not make out the name. She is upstairs in their room where he just got the horseshoe, and the door's open, and she's just kind of humming to herself while she's stuffing her other set of clothing into a sack.
I'll give a polite knock on the door as it's open. Lady Mormont.
Don't tell me you. Oh, never mind. Sir Luke, in it? Yeah.
Yes. I just wanted to run something by you. I've asked your squire, and forgive the presumption, but I've asked him to be an advocate for and look after Lady Janet. Is that all right with you?
Well, sure. You handle night types are all about protecting us defenseless women and such, and she seems like the most defenseless woman we've seen. So yeah, I'm sworn to serve House Nymerian, and the boy's sworn to swerve you too. So sure, he can look after the frail young maiden and such.
Indeed, and as you no doubt seen of my sisters, where I come from, there are not that many women who need such defense. This one, though,
not on Bear Island, neither.
I love this woman. Just so you all know,
right?
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna nod to her. No, they don't seem to.
Hey, listen here. I got me a theory that I feel like a Dornishman might be good to test it on.
No,
but you know how when you get a particularly thick tankard of good black ale, and then you accidentally drink someone else's drink, or you get in a brawl or such like, and you leave the ale sit for too long, you come back to it later, and it's got a good tasty head on top. It's good foam, puts hair on your chest, and then you got some oats and barley and such that sunk down to the bottom. That's always a good tasty bite at the end of the drink. And then in the middle, you've got the watery worst bit. I think that tankard of good thick black ale, I think that's Westeros. You got the sternest folk up north, and of course, Bear Island gives even sterner folk than the northern Maitlanders. And then it seems like you Dornish folk,
a good head.
You're a good bite down in the south. She does not seem to pick up on any sexual innuendo.
You know what, Lady Mormont? I think you may be right. I want to give her the nightly forearm grab.
But it seems to me the farthest north and the farthest south is the best you're gonna find on this whole stinking continent. So I look forward to going south with you lot.
You should have fun, and when my sister is well and fully healed, if she would stay in her goddamn bed, you all should have a lot of good times. I want to ease Lady Janet back into things, and I know little Robert, he seems to be pure of heart. He would be a good one to go between with her.
He's a little sweetling.
He is, isn't he?
If anyone can put her at ease, it's him.
Thank you, Lady Mormon. That's all I wanted to run by you.
Oh, of course. I'm just finishing up my packing. And she just like stuffs some shapeless wad of cloth into her sack.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good, so I'm gonna step back.
All right. So yeah, little Robert Frey will be running errands for you and doing some purchases after bringing that final horseshoe and learning how to shoe a horse or whatever it is that Oris is teaching.
Specifically, what I've asked people is to what I asked him is to pick up among other things, a fancy carriage Lady Dana can ride in. They have privacy and be comfortable on the way back home. So,
yeah, and over the course of the last few days, you guys would have been able to establish a kind of a correspondence with whoever would be selling that. So it's not a last-minute order that little Robert is actually in charge of. So you will not be killing your new squire by giving him a heart attack early in his career with you. He'll just kind of be, checking on it and that sort of thing. But yeah, he'll be absolutely able to continue to keep busy on your behalf.
excellent. So, Luke will go back to nursing his wounds at that point.
By which you mean restoring your imbalanced humors by pouring new liquid into your body to make up for the blood that escaped.
If there's a better theory of disease than the four humors, you let me know. But I don't know of one.
Yeah, I mean that's just science.
It's just science.
So let's see, what else
And the
is
four humors are whiskey, wine, ale, and
Blood.
brandy, maybe.
what's the Lady Raina up to? We've tackled two of her siblings. What's she been doing the last couple days, and what is she up to right now?
Beric Dondarrion. I mean, pretty much as often as he wants to.
You find that the good Lord Beric was very politely reluctant to do much more than flirt with you, like that first night when he was injured from, fighting Sir Vannon Rivers. Then the second night when you went for another walk in the gardens with him, he was a little bit more spry on his feet. And he very politely declined because, of course, he is betrothed to your fellow Dornish woman. But the third night, when you went for another walk, you were able to remind him that most Dornish women don't mind a little bit of fun on the side, and that she's not here and you are, and you could teach him what Dornish women like. Actually, you are doing a favor to his betrothed.
It would be cheating for him not to fuck you.
I am doing her a favor.
Yeah, if anything, it would be ungallant of him.
Right?
To not take you up on the offer.
So yes, the third time, he goes along with it, and then again the fourth and fifth. So he is
Nice.
sure that the Lady Illyria Dane will be thankful for these lessons. He is every bit he's the exact same level of charming gentleman with you afterwards, mid dalliance, as you guys are then still walking together arm in arm wherever. There's no smug sense of I got that and now we're extra special close. He is very the same level of culturally appropriate formal expected flirtation. You know what I mean? There's no shift in his outward demeanor in public and no smugness from him or anything like that. It looks like the exact same level of gallant, dashing flirtation that he was up to before, and he's just as gallant, dashingly flirtatious with every barmaid at the Greentree, with Bela, when she emerges to grab some food and then scuttle back to her cave, whatever. Like, he is just as much the kind of, oh, that flirt, with everybody. So he's apparently also practicing keeping some down low on the down low in a very Dornish fashion.
I like it. I approve.
What a gentleman.
So yes, you've been able to dally rather pleasantly with the Lightning Lord, which has also left young Lord Edric Dane, his squire, to a little bit more free to also help you guys out. So often you could show up at their pavilion, give a note to young Edric for some errands to run, and then maybe not leave the tent for an hour, or whatever. So you're still able to be productive in these, this final day of preparation and stuff. But yeah, he very gallantly and politely declined at first, but was brought around with reminders of Dornish culture not quite being the stuck-up Andal affair that these northerners are used to here in the north of the Stormlands.
Well, that's number 1 through 5 on my to-do list checked off.
I'm proud of you.
Well, yes. She wasn't going to while we were here in King's Landing, but look at it. So anyway, and the rest of my time will be well, I will check on Bela quite often until she yells at me. Which might be the first time. Stick my head
She'd
in
be
the
like, I'm fine, but maybe bring me half a chicken. Yeah, so she does occasionally eat. Like, her appetite seems to come and go, and like when she's hungry, she'll eat like Oris does, and then she'll just like want nothing for like 18 hours, So yeah, she's occasionally been voraciously hungry.
Oh, and I make sure she is properly cared for.
Yeah,
And
gotta burn out the fever.
goods that we have gathered is properly packed, and it's going to be ready to go, and we're ready to go. And
The bulk of the gold, just to help you guys with a little logistics, I picture kind of trade bars that are a good deal larger than like one gold coin. I'm thinking about the size of like an individual Kit Kat bar, right? So maybe about the size of a finger, like roughly that width, and they're kind of rectangular. So like there's big trade bars that are alternately worth 20 to 30 gold dragons, and they'll be like minted and stamped. So you guys don't have like giant gold bricks to worry about, but you also don't have like literally thousands of gold coins to worry about. So you guys have been able to kind of sequester away most of that wealth into like one good sized, good quality lockbox that has the seal of the magistrate Illyrio Mopatis on the top of it, because the bulk of your payment came from him. He had it delivered in style by a foursome of sellswords that are also a gift to you.
How fucking rich is that guy?
Most of the men-at-arms that you guys are kind of bringing home with you are just going to rotate into your military units when you get home. It's not at all uncommon to recruit some men-at-arms and sellswords and look for, combat-trained folk at a tourney. So you're just going to bring about 20 guys home to rotate into the military in your existing forces when you get back. But yeah, he has the money delivered with a group of men-at-arms in tow as his perfumed self, wafted into the Greentree like day one. So he made sure to get it to you early and give you enough time to see to things and all that. Right. He hasn't been back since. He hasn't been by to visit or anything like that. He seems to have delivered his money and then to be kind of done with you guys. So he's just kind of wafted off again with blue dye and perfume in his wake.
Sure.
I would strongly advise that we do not carry all of the money in one box or in one place.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can figure that out when it's actually time to leave.
Does the Iron Bank have, well, besides a little modern, like a branch in town?
You guys could certainly look into that if you wanted, but it would complicate trying to spend the money later. It would mean you'd have to like travel, send ravens, whatever. But taking it all home and presenting like half a dragon's horde to Grandpa Makar might feel pretty cool.
It's really my plan. I know you guys all fucking been there before.
Yeah, we need to assuage the bad news of that I spent 1,000 gold on someone. So yeah, we need to go like, yeah, so I kind of did this, but here's all this other money. Don't think about the thing I did.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to tell him. Like, he doesn't know how much gold you earned, and then you're coming back with 1,000 less.
That's
You
true.
just be like, look how much we earned. It's
I mean,
it's going to be up to you.
Well, that's technically true. The minute he like gives Adam a stern look and asks him anything, Adam will crack.
I mean, that's extra funny to me. So,
Like how did you find King's Landing, Adam?
Grandpa will just go, what happened in King's Landing, Adam? And Adam, you don't need to waterboard Adam, he would just tell you.
Like, Adam, can you pass me a roll? Yes, but also I lost 1,000 gold dragons. I'm so sorry. You just didn't see his pants, Grandpa. The pants.
I mean, we won, so it's not as bad as if you spent 1,000 gold dragons and we lost.
So you've got plenty of time to worry about that and figure out what you're going to tell him and when and how.
Yeah, the question is, do we know you spent 1,000 gold dragons on Link or Bray?
Well, I mean, Adam did tell you at the time that's what he wanted.
I know out of character we gave you a little shit for. I said in character we specifically knew.
It was absolutely worth it.
All right, I was under the impression.
Out of character, do we want to turn this into an in-character conversation?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So the
I
green
guess that's
tree,
the question.
the green tree is kind of emptied again. A few patrons are coming and going, but you guys have largely claimed it this week. So yeah, you guys are eating lunch that day, let's say, and discussing what to do with the coin, and that sort of thing. So there we go.
I just have absolutely. I don't understand. I don't think we have to tell Grandfather that we paid Lynn anything.
All right, then we won't tell him.
We paid Lynn? We paid him, like, what?
Yeah, right, I suppose maybe.
Fucking 100 gold or
I
something?
suppose maybe you
Holy
did.
shit.
I suppose maybe you didn't hear in all the commotion, but like I did tell Reyna before agreeing to it that he wanted 1,000 gold to fight for us.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fair. You hire a sellsword like that for 100 gold. Wait, you said 1,000?
Yeah.
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 And what did he say? We told him to go stuff it up his ass.
No, I thought that repeating that kind of thing would probably not be a good idea. I actually I have the other half to take to him later. Yeah, look, don't look at me like that. I asked Reyna before I said yes. She said it was worth it to not have him on the other team, so I said yes.
I stand by that because we're
Reyna
still
stands by.
victorious. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. It sounds like you guys paid him 1,000 gold.
Well, I mean, currently I've only paid him 500 gold, but yeah, it's going to be 1,000
total
by tonight. Total, yeah.
Well, especially as he's healed up. I mean,
Well, I mean, if the Hound had killed him, we wouldn't have had to pay the other half. But
What we do?
But Sir Sandor
I mean-
rather wisely decided he wasn't going to die for it.
I guess I would have had to fight the Hound in that case. So
Is that worth 1,000 gold to you?
I don't judge what's worth it. I wasn't expecting us to pay that much for a sellsword. Do we
It's not
have
just
it?
a sell
I mean,
sword.
Well, I mean,
I've
We
made
do
quite a bit, but
we do have it. Also, he's not a sellsword. That you know.
He's a
not
lord
what
of a house.
Well, no, he's the heir to a house, but
sadly,
look,
it's a
I
sellsword.
more than half of it came out of my own money, so I'm only like borrowing like 400.
From who?
Well, Bela said she would put up the rest of it.
Bela knows this too?
Yeah,
You all just don't
Look,
tell
I
me
don't know
about
how
shit?
you missed this.
you were standing right there. I assumed you were listening.
I'm sorry, I was busy convincing the king, the Knight Oris,
Well, I mean,
after we
let's be
pissed him off.
honest, there was a bit of distraction, but you still would have been outvoted.
There was no vote.
No,
I
there
decided.
wouldn't have been. We don't vote on shit. Okay, it's fine. I just didn't know.
Look, let's think of it as an investment.
Well, we're alive now, so
we
I guess
are-
it's a good investment.
We are alive now, and I think that it will also buy a certain degree of goodwill that I had to like put effort into building up. Otherwise, well, my actions the other night could have resulted in another duel, and I don't want that.
Okay.
If we keep the angry man happy, then we don't have to fight him.
I'm going to pretend like this decision was made completely with our wallets in mind and nothing else.
That's fine.
In which case, it happened. We won. It worked out. We're good.
Good.
I was a little surprised. And the next question is, no, the next question is not a question, it's a statement. We're never telling grandfather.
Yeah, I think that is the plan going forward, is that we don't tell grandfather about that.
I agree. I just said that. I opened with that.
Fair, but I didn't know the context then, so.
Okay. Very well. Very well.
About wise choice. It seems high, the amount, but
Honestly, I tried to haggle, but that didn't work very well at all. So yeah, but it was better that than having to fight him on the other team.
I did not. I agree. I think he was a worthwhile investment because
Yeah,
the entire firehouse.
It would have been 500 minimum just to have him not fight at all. So yeah.
or they wouldn't have talked to him because there's 1,000 Knights in King's Landing.
There may
we
be a
don't know
1,000
that for sure.
things landing, but there are not so many with quite that reputation for being deadly.
What we do know is he fought for us.
Yeah.
He held off the Hound, which is a fairly deadly enemy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
and we won.
Yep.
I'm not happy at the cost, but we won, we're good.
I'm not particularly happy about it either, but I'm willing to pay it.
Brother,
I'm especially not going to go back on my word now.
no, of course not.
No.
Can I ask something though? Because Raina knows about your preferences, right? You mentioned that earlier.
I beg your pardon?
I lost you in crunch on my
Oh,
end for what.
Yeah, same.
Raina knows about your preferences and all that. Is that correct?
I was right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Look, I know I'm short. Do you remember we were
What?
over at the Jade Spring
Yeah, I mean,
I drink a lot, sister. I'm just trying to verify my memories are accurate.
That's a good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I mean, I kind of fell apart in front of the two of you, so.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, fair.
I would like to know exactly what you're implying with.
My implication is perhaps your feelings led you to negotiate poorly. And that's not a.
Um, with the greatest affection, brother. Fuck you.
Ooh.
I mean,
I-
you know,
You think that I'm so overcome with desire that I can't use my own brain?
I think it's a possibility we need to discuss. Yes, for future instances. Yes.
I've never been so insulted in my life.
Well, I have been there plenty of times. So, it's worth 10 gold, and you're
Just
really into it, so you pay 40.
Brother, just because you think with your penis doesn't mean everyone else does.
No, but it means there's a possibility that you might, so we need to discuss it. At least in the abstract.
Meanwhile, Reyna's sitting there reeking of Barrack Dondarrion. Like, yeah, you gotta get your shit under control, little bro.
I don't think I had any feelings that are detrimental to haggling. It's not like I went. I'm going to give you like
Okay.
1,000 gold so I can look at you. You know that's.
I mean, I'm pretty good, so.
And it's not. And you know what? Like that wouldn't work anyway. So.
All right then. You
Okay.
got
I only bring it up so that if in a similar situation in the future, we can recognize the weakness and maybe have somebody else negotiate. I just want us to consider it's a possibility because God knows it is when I talk to people.
Are you going to do this every time I talk to an attractive man?
If it's one you are fucking falling over yourself against, yeah.
I wasn't falling over myself. Why was I falling over myself? I wasn't falling over myself.
Okay. Adam, I'm not here to accuse you of things. I just recognize the reality when people have feelings. I just want to make sure that if in the future it comes up, we recognize what's going on and we can plan properly for it. This isn't me accusing you of a weakness. Well, I suppose it is, but it's a weakness we all have to some degree. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Right. Okay. I'm
not angry with the money. That's gone. That's done. I don't care.
No, that's okay. Just a thing that I have learned and if I've learned nothing else in King's Landing is that it doesn't cost 1,000 gold to get someone to fuck you. So
that's true.
Can we agree that if I was going to try and get Lynn to fuck me, I wouldn't be giving him 1,000 gold for it?
Aye.
What we can agree on is this, and that is, if as long as you recognize there are issues and you can keep that in mind when you negotiate in the future, we are good.
I'm going to say yes because I want this to be over.
Oh.
It isn't a matter of me accusing you of doing wrong. It's a matter of me wanting you to realize that we are all pliable. We can all make mistakes like this, or even make accurate decisions, but do so under the wrong pretenses or while influenced by them, and understanding that it is a issue.
All right then.
That we need to recognize and just be aware of. We have to have each other's backs for the future.
I agree.
Okay, I didn't mean to call you out for any specific thing. I think Corbray was a good call. So
thank you.
I'm sorry I made you feel awkward about it, brother.
Yeah, no. Your apology is appreciated and accepted. I'm just I'm just a bit defensive, I think, because I keep expecting someone to be awful about it.
I mean,
Well-
Not about that situation specifically, but about me. And
yeah,
and I know
that's not going to happen with your siblings, not with us.
I appreciate that. It's just the fear is there, whether it's rational or not.
Well, I
It's
hope
I'm
something
that-
we need to be aware of, something we can work on and work towards and against.
Yeah,
I just
that's
hope,
all.
look, Adam,
Mm-hmm.
every day going forward, I want you to remember that we are your family. You've been away almost your whole life, as has Luke. You have been in foreign places with foreign people, having to forge alliances with friends outside of the house. You don't have to pretend anything with us.
All right.
And I know I can say that till I turn blue in the face. It doesn't matter. Just try every day to remind yourself that we believe in you. And you, Luke. Not me.
Rita, did you fuck somebody recently?
None of your business, sir.
Goodness.
Okay.
I
just,
know that I'm.
It's really it's going to take me some time to get used to this level of familiarity.
I just wanted to break a little bit of ice, as they say.
Pardon?
I just wanted to break a little bit of ice, as they say.
I yeah, well, we're not going to be too familiar. I know that I'm mellow today, so just take it as a win and move forward.
Yes, our many wins that we're not going to talk about.
Our strength will be in our openness and our bringing things by each other.
Yes,
It will always be possible,
together.
but that will be a strength.
Hmm.
All right then.
That suits me.
All right, I really want to have this
Cider.
sandwich they made for me that's kind of cold now, so...
Well, I'm not the one who was grilling my siblings about their sex lives, so.
Eat your cold sandwich.
I'm sure you. I'm sure you could get someone to warm it for you.
I mean, it's a sandwich, okay? It doesn't... That's 7 hells. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I've got some gold to deliver, so we're just gonna like you eat your sandwich and we just
Oh, I am.
supposed to do.
Maybe see if Oris will go with you.
What? Why?
We're still not going anywhere alone in this city, especially now. We've got so much extra renown.
No, all right. You might
Have
not
you
want
still
to.
not spoken to him?
No.
That
Well,
young
should I-
man thinks that you only valued him for his martial prowess, not his friendship.
Well, that's not true.
I am aware of that.
We should talk to him either way. Let him know how you feel.
No, I
I
know.
mean, about his help and all that, not the other stuff.
No,
Please do
I know. I owe him an apology anyway. I was an utter bitch the other night.
Well, I rarely apologize for that, so you're already one up on me.
I'm very conscious that if I make someone angry, it's one of you that has to fight for me. So I have to be a bit more forthright with apologies
Well, please do.
because I can't answer my own insults.
I mean, if you talk to Oris, it turns into some sort of duel to the death. You get done fucked up pretty bad. We'll just put it that way. I don't think it's going that route, though.
Dad, I
Yes,
can't help you with that. I'm sorry. So,
I suppose that's true. Like, I don't know if he'll want to talk to me though. He's like,
well, make your apology at least. But see if he will accompany you, please. If he will not, then your brother will.
All right. I mean, I've yes, I have things to take to people, and one of them's him anyway. So I'll go find him.
Excellent.
You guys hear a small ruckus at the door, like a clank of metal on metal and metal on wood, and the door frame, or rather the door itself, just kind of rattles a little bit, and then you hear it again, and then the door opens, and you see young Robert Frey with a pair of horseshoes in each hand. And he's holding his arms like out to his sides, and he's like, "Oh, thank you, sir. The handle was tough. Oh, these are so heavy." And he comes sideways, like shuffling into the room, and then holding both arms out with these horseshoes at arm's length, like red in the face, and then he darts up to your table and with a clatter drops the horseshoes on them, and it looks like his arms are about to fall off. But he fumbles in his belt and pulls out a small note from the carriage maker. He goes, "Hey, here you are, my lord, sir. I saw to that errand."
Oh, excellent. I take the note.
And the errand that the Aurochs set out for me was to do that with the horseshoes until I reported back to you all. And then that door almost got me. Swear it almost killed me, my lords, my ladies.
Shall we slay the door for you, young Robbie?
Oh, no, he got it. And he looks over, and still in the door frame is Josmond Peckledon, Nathan Lucas's squire,
Oh.
who's kind of waiting outside, looking a little sheepish and uncomfortable.
I will get up to approach him if nobody else does.
I won't. I mean, why does he have... If he has business with me, he'll come to me.
So yeah, it's young Peck. He is about 14, 15 years old, just on the verge of knighthood, but he is very skinny, so he tends to look a little younger. But he bobs his head in a polite little nod/bow.
I give him a polite bow as well. No animosity here. Sir Pack, what can I do for you?
I come to fetch the last of Sir Nathan's things. Sir Master Brewer has them. I just also, the other times I come by to get stuff, you lot were all upstairs or something. I don't want to cause no fuss.
No fuss is going to be caused. It's fine.
Squire Pack, we are not your enemy. I'll extend a hand to him. You are welcome to come collect Nathan's things.
He gives you another kind of nervous little bob as he ducks through the door frame.
I have a question for you, though, first.
Yeah, sir.
How is Nathan's healing going? Is he okay?
He's a hardy one, sir, and you didn't beat him too bad.
No, I did not. Just want to make sure he was healing good. So,
I mean, out of character, he did get beaten pretty bad, but you also can suspect that he and his squire would not admit to that.
I would have asked him about it. So, no, I kicked his ass. Fuck that guy.
I'll pass on your well wishes or whatnot. Listen, I just about that letter, and here he looks nervously over towards the table with Rain. He goes, "Don't go telling nobody I pinched nothing, all right? I wouldn't normally steal. It's just I saw that and it weren't right."
Heck, all is well. I appreciate that you thought enough of us to share the truth with us, and thank you. Your secret's safe here.
Knights are supposed to defend the innocent and protect women and such, and well, I guess I could do that by stealing which is weird. Felt a bit queer and backwards like, but it felt like the right thing to do. But still, please don't go telling nobody. I know that Orton's on the outs with the rest of that family, but I won't have word spreading that a Lucas Squire's a thief, or no member of House Peckleton neither.
Absolutely not.
Of course, son.
You were doing what you thought was right, and you've made no misstep from the right path.
He smiles, looking reassured. All right, well, thanks then,
Thank you.
and safe travels and 7 blessings and such. Though I don't think Sir Nathan's gonna be in the mood to wish it on you anytime soon. I don't think he'd cuff me upside my head for saying it neither.
Thank you. And pass it on to him. We hold him no ill will. It was out of his control, but he had to do what he had to do for his house.
I won't tell him that because
Right.
he doesn't quite like advice from squires or advice from nobody. But I won't tell him that you lot are cursing his name or nothing like that neither. So
And if it helps, you tell him that my mother's sore and all that.
crying into your wine and spitting teeth in your sandwich. I'll let him.
Barely hanging on.
Good.
And then he grabs a little sack with a few leftover items in it, and takes off after another polite little bow.
I kind of nod to him. I look at Raina. Sister, we have need to give some sort of thanks to Lady Elena.
Yes, and I have thoughts on a gift for her. From home. I think to send her a chest of spices and seeds from our gardens. From the
Oh,
Nornish gardens.
well, that's
I
nice.
have.
I think she'll be pleased for the change from things with roses on them.
Right.
I have some thoughts as well, but I will have to deliver them in person to her if possible.
Are you going to give something to Sir Garland? He's been very helpful.
I hadn't had thoughts on Sir Garland. Had you? Either of you?
I had, well, what with his sword being broken, I thought to place it with something.
With a sword?
Well, yes, obviously a sword. Oh, God.
What do you want me to? What do you want? It's too late to have something by Tobo Mott. I mean, Mott is. We just don't have the time.
Oh, we don't have the time to wait for it to be finished, but we can
start it.
We can pay for some work to be done.
Well, I'm sure he's made swords for Sir Garland in the past.
Certainly, and the sword that they gave to Oris was very fine. So
exactly,
it was just a thing that seemed obvious, given that he had his sword broken.
Yeah, rather symbolically. I agree.
I'm sure it was certainly symbolic for the one doing the breaking.
I think that would be excellent. A good idea. And I think that, again, that's something that you guys that you and Oris can do while you're out and about.
Yes, well, I do have to go to the Street of Silks to pick up some things that I've had made anyway, so it's on the way.
I have to get into the habit of that now. Sir Oris.
I was thinking of getting a horse.
I bought a horse.
Yes, but you're comfortable riding a horse.
Oh, for you.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if I don't know if I'm ready to actually get back in a saddle yet, but I thought I might. I feel like I've gotten a bit more confidence in myself, and I think I might be ready to at least try to start working on that fear.
Good. I actually have a lovely steed coming from Dane, from the
Oh.
Dane stables.
Lovely.
Yeah, a mist gray sand steed. Too.
That sounds lovely.
Yes.
I hadn't really decided if I wanted to what kind of horse, but I was just going to go and sort of see if one of them.
Are you comfortable being around them?
Not really, but I don't have to be right next to them to pick one.
Bayla's upstairs, but she's going to tell you that you need to be right up next to the horseflesh to judge it appropriately, and for it to judge you.
Oh, I suppose that might be the first step then.
Right? If you can't do it here, we can always visit Starfall another time.
All right. I just thought I should say that I'm thinking about it.
You know, sometime after the wedding.
What? Whose wedding?
I mean, we are now friends with Sir Beric Dondarrion, and he is betrothed to a lady of Starfall.
Oh, right. I mean, I wasn't particularly.
Whose name? I've forgotten.
I mean, I wasn't particularly looking for a horse from Starfall. I mean, I would be just as content with a Fossaway steed, but
Fossaways are good horses, horseflesh as well.
Yeah, so I don't feel that I need to wait until after anyone's particular nuptials or anything. But
all right, well,
yeah,
I
suppose I just wanted you to know that I'm working on things.
I am very proud of you, because you have come very far, even in the short time that we have been together here. And I feel that you will continue to excel.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All the faith.
Mm-hmm.
More faith in my siblings than I have in the gods, so...
Well, don't let them hear you.
Well, if they're so freaking godly, they hear it all.
Right, okay. I'm not going to get into that theological discussion. Yes.
Right? Gods have smiled upon us, and if they
have.
don't like what I say, they will smite me.
This is sort of Dondarrion. If they're so godly, why do they bring people back to life?
It's different.
That'd be the true sign for me.
Yeah, right? Anyway, so yes. I've given you all things to do, right?
Yes. Also, look, this, like, there's a sack of your shirts there that I got from your room at the Red Keep. So if you want to know, if you want to know where all your shirts disappeared to, they went under your bed, you revolting animal.
That's not the half of them.
You revolting animal. Alright.
I feel like revolting animals a pretty solid closing exchange to that scene of warm sibling affection and all. So what scene do we want to do a jump cut to next?
I think it should be Adam talking to Oris, or asking Oris to accompany him on his errands, and maybe having a talk somewhere along that way.
our camera transition to the tourney ground pavilion, where Sir Oris the Aurochs is kind of in charge of prepping the horses and the animals and loading wagons and stuff. The camera transition is like a low camera drone following a huffing and puffing little Robert Frey as he runs through the streets of King's Landing and across the tourney ground with his arms outstretched in front of him with 2 horseshoes in each hand. And then like getting there and like panting and panting and panting and then trying to straighten up and make it look easy as he rounds the last corner. And then like Oris sends him off to chop some wood or something. So he's just keeping little Robert Frey working and eating. Oris's mum, the lady Bessa of Fleabottom, is also out there at the pavilion. She is overseeing grabbing some food for everybody. She is feeding Oris. She is hollering at every like food merchant that walks by, like shouting goodbyes to them and stuff like that. Like, see you lot when you come to door, and he's a cunt anyway, owes me 3 copper. That sort of thing. So she's just kind of overseeing the kind of tourney pavilion area alongside Oris. She's keeping little Robert Frey eating, and she's clucking around and keeping little Edric Dane busy, and any servants that are delivering stuff to the pavilion ground that has become like ground zero, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the hive of activity that's going on there is Oris and his former adopted mum, the nursemaid that raised him. They're kind of running the pavilion area and dealing with deliveries and packing and prepping and all that stuff.
Well, as was it like Adam wouldn't go past Bessa without saying hello to her.
I will say this is like just after the lunch conversation, so you can answer honestly when she insists, like, "Oh, you have to eat something." You can be like, "No, actually, I just did have lunch. I promise." But yeah, that's her default. Anytime she sees you lot, she tries to feed you. You most of all.
No, I promise you, I ate food, plenty of it. You don't need to give me anything more. I will actually burst.
She gives you a long, suspicious look, and she holds out a hand for your hands, and then she. All right. So like she indelicately sniffs your hands to make sure that she smells some food on there. She's all right. I'm used to little ones lying about that sort of thing. And if they can lie about stealing rolls, then they can lie about not stealing rolls. And anyways, I can tell you just...
I completely understand, but I would neither steal nor lie about not stealing rolls.
All right, then. Oh, you get over here. And she turns away and takes off after a delivery person that stacked something crookedly or, whatever. So Oris, for his part, seems to be sitting and taking a break. It looks like he got harangued into eating something. So he's just wrapping up a midday meal. So he's got some privacy over there by the little campfire where you guys have all sat before. He's over there wrapping up a snack.
I see you've got Robert keeping busy.
Yep. Gotta bulk the boy up, so using all the tricks Willie Will used on me.
I need to go collect some things on the Street of Silks, and I need to deliver some coins. And Raina didn't want me traveling alone, so she wanted to ask you if you would accompany me.
He keeps his gaze down on like the campfire. He's not like looking up at you or anything. Like he's kind of pointedly avoiding looking at you, and
Yeah,
But he just gives
Adam's,
goes,
Adam's kind of avoiding looking at him as well. So,
but yeah, he.
You're not
Dude, I
coming
can't hear
through
you.
on the channel.
yeah.
No. No.
What about now?
Okay, got you now.
There we go. Yeah, I just unplugged the headset and plugged it back in. That normally does it. So yeah, Oris gives an old school Orisian grunt and a shrug, and he goes, "Sure. When?"
Just when you have some time. I was, yeah. I was going to do it soon, but there's no great rush.
I can do it. Frey, load and unload anything that woman tells you to. And he looks, Robert looks with appropriate fear and adoration at Bessa of Flea Bottom, who's got that matronly grip on him. And then Oris just stands up and kind of brushes his hands on his pants legs, and casually shoulders his hammer. He isn't even wearing his full gambeson right now. He's just got on like the loose vest that he wears in lieu of that because he's doing a little more physical labor today. So he doesn't look super highborn, but on that vest is a small patch with Oris's chosen sigil, that black iron aurochs on a bronze and blue field. So yeah, he's got a new little like patch on there. So he looks kind of knightly, and just casually has a weapon, and nods for you to get going.
Right. Well, I think Adam would first head for the Street of Silts because he's picking up the basically like all the gifts he's had made for the who fought for House Nymerian in the 7. So should probably be doing that before making any of his deliveries, basically. I like your sigil.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Like, yeah, this is your fault, but it's fine. It needed to happen. like Adam's like super, just like there's I need to say stuff, but I'm feeling so awkward.
Oris will be in front of you like a step or two and just like working through the crowd of King's Landing for you. So like you kind of say where to go and then travel in Oris's wake, just like the old days.
Okay. Not traveling in his pocket, like the tiny Adam. So yeah, he'll be going to the tailors basically, and the jeweler.
Tailor and a jeweler. What a surprise.
Oh, I was having gifts made.
Oh,
not from this time.
You hear a soft oh, not an apology, but just an oh.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose it'll kind of like fall into awkward silence until they get there, basically.
Oh.
Awkward silence abounds. So you guys get there. You're able to gather up the bundles of stuff. I'm not sure out of character what all the gifts are, but whatever they are, you get them and a convenient means of conveyance.
Cool, that's fine.
Like unless you bought somebody like a fucking boat or something, yeah. Like whatever the gifts are, assuming that they're easily transportable.
No, I went with a theme, and I guess
You could describe them as they're being gifted. Is
Yeah.
just fine. Just
Sure.
assuming that they can be easily carried. Your merchants have made them easily carryable.
Yeah.
So then
Okay.
you call the next location into Oris maps.
Yeah, the first stop would be Surveillance Swan. And to give the first of the gifts. And
Swan tent's easy to spot. And Oris starts trudging through the mass of the streets towards the pavilion ground.
Okay. I take it getting a hold of Surveillance is not going to be difficult.
He's likely at his tent.
Right. Well, once at the tent, Adam will make his presence known.
Oris just stands politely aside, and Sir Balin is actually outside his pavilion tent, looking over kind of the last of his stuff that is getting loaded onto a small wagon that he travels with. His pavilion tent actually is hard to find because he has had it taken down, and it's getting all like rolled up and bundled. And he just gives you a look. Ah, young Adam.
Sir Balin, good to see you. I wanted to come by before you left. I have a gift for you.
Oh, well, that's an unexpected but pleasant surprise.
Well, I wanted to give thanks to everyone who helped to defend my family's honor. Adam will present him with a black cloak with white swans stitched along the outer edge, but every seventh swan is actually a little silver wyvern.
Okay.
Awesome.
He kind of holds it out and he goes, this is fine work. I thank you, young lord. How fares your sister?
She's recovering. She stood vigil with me for our cousin Will and has come down with a fever, unfortunately.
Yes, I heard, and then I heard she bit and clawed like a hellcat her way out of the minister's tent. I just can't camp rumors and such, but is she doing better?
Well, I wasn't present for it, but it does sound rather like her to be a bad patient.
Yes.
Well,
she's being well looked after, though. In her way, she'll be fine.
I hope the road treats her safely, and the rest of you, of course, your other sister and your brother and your all of you, of course.
Thank you. That's very kind, and safe travels to you.
Yes. Well, I haven't terribly far to go, but I did hear that there's an assignment waiting for me back home, so I might get a little practice in packing this wagon up.
Well, I hope whatever's waiting at home for you is pleasant.
As do I. Normally, summons to Stonehelm is not terribly pleasant, but we'll see. May just be some patrols or the like.
Well, safe travels to you then.
And you. And sir, he gives Oris a nod. You remember that he and Oris clashed briefly in the melee. So he's been every bit the polite peer knight to Oris. A little bit more eagerly than some. Like he's actually been hit by him. So maybe he got a little bit more polite than most knights would have.
Balin Swan seems broadly a good egg.
Yep, which is completely appropriate also when talking about a member of House Swan. But yeah, he seems to have been a pretty good...
Right, well, we'll move on then. The next stop is Beric Dondarrion.
His tent's not far. And Oris just, picks the stuff up again and heads over.
Well, Sir Balin's nice, isn't he?
He seems a decent sort. Good with that Morningstar of his.
Yes, quite. I seem to recall you two fought briefly in the melee.
I did a number on my shield something good, but he fucked up that Roboy Royce's arm bad enough he had to drop out of the tourney, so I like Swan for that, if no one else.
Oh yes, he's a decent sort. I suppose it makes sense that the Dundarian Pavilion won't be far off. It makes sense that the Stormlords and the Marchers would be close.
It's just up here, and you see it's this really fancy looking, all like black silk pavilion with the purple and white like lightning bolt streamer things as like separate pieces of cloth, so that as it all ripples in the wind, the purple and white kind of meld together and look like lightning bolts.
Nice.
And they sometimes fade behind folds of the black silk so that the lightning flashes kind of appear and disappear. It's kind of a neat, like almost animated looking tent. He's all in on the Dondarian sigil.
I've got to. Adam's got to like someone who's got a similar level of dedication to being fancy.
Yes, he is a big fan of drawing the eye.
He's been taking walks in the gardens with my sister a lot. I hope he's not leading her on.
I doubt it. If he is, Bela will kill him or something.
I suppose.
Unless Reyna does.
Right, so I'll look for him.
All right. Oris politely waits at like the edge of the little tourney pavilion again, and Lord Barrick is right there. They have left their pavilion up, even though they moved into the Greentree. Or sorry, other knights have moved around other places. But yeah, the pavilions, even for the knights that have sought lodging elsewhere, they kind of stay up as social things. So yeah, Lord Barrick Dondarian's there, just kind of chilling by his little campfire thing.
Lord Barrick.
Young Adam the Archer.
I'm not quite used to that yet. What an impressive pavilion you have.
Thank you. It cost a pretty penny, but it does catch the eye, doesn't it?
I suppose it makes you quite easy to find.
It does.
I have a gift for you, as thanks for helping to defend my family's honor.
Oh, well, what a pleasant surprise. I thought I'd already been thanked.
Oh, well, words were insufficient.
Words are wind.
So Adam gives him, it's also a cloak, a black one with purple lightning bolts stitched along the edge. But in one corner there is a silver wyvern that's stitched in the same kind of jagged lightning style. So it's kind of,
fine work. Look at the stitching. And he kind of geeks out with you at the subreddit / fancy cloak, right? And he's able to make clearly more knowledgeable than most knights compliments on the craftsmanship. And eventually, after looking at it, he goes, and you had this done by Master Smythe over there, and like name drops the right shop and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, he's done all of my tailoring since I've been in King's Landing, and he's clearly the best.
Good work, and his black is fine.
It is the deepest that I've found so far.
Indeed. Well,
was it him that made your pavilion?
Oh no. Out of character. I'm not sure what. Like it would still be like a seamstress if they make a tent, but a craftsman back home.
Okay. Well, that I'm very glad that you like it. I know you're a man who appreciates a good cape.
Oh, indeed. Come. And he waves you, and he's got a row of about 10 capes and cloaks and capelets that are
He's
all that.
Lando!
He's got that. It's all, they're all like the same basic design. Some of them have a few more stars than others. He does like the starry pattern on some, often with more stars fading to less as you get to like the bottom. Some of them are silk, some of them are satin. One of them is clearly his travel cloak that's good thick black wool. But yeah, he's got this closet of the same basic design, ranging from dashing kind of capelet, half cape, up to like the thick woolen cloak. And he goes, well, perhaps I'll wear this one when we all depart tomorrow.
That would be most gratifying. These are lovely.
Oh, thank you. My travel collection.
I feel like a little kindred spirit there. Someone else who likes to dress well. It's nice. I like it. I can see why my sister's so taken with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
please
well,
go on.
Well, you two have been taking a lot of walks in the garden, and it's nice to see that she's made a friend.
Yes, we've both been very friendly with one another and continuing attempts to show that the Dornish and Stormland spats of ancient history are, in fact, ancient history.
Well, that's good to know, and I look forward to traveling with you.
I don't suppose she may have mentioned if any of these were her favorite.
Oh, I don't think she had, but I can.
Right.
I can.
Oh.
But based on what I know of her, I could perhaps make a suggestion.
Oh, well, I was thinking it might be a nice gesture to wear the new one, but if you think she likes another one better, I'm open to suggestion.
I think for Reyna, it's not so much the wrapping as the person within them.
Well, that's sweet of you to say.
I'm sure whatever you choose, she will approve of.
Right then, I'll wear the new one.
Right, I have some more running around to do, I'm afraid.
No problem at all. Thank you for your visit and the new addition. I look forward to seeing you all on the morrow.
On the morrow.
And he leans out of the tent and gives like a chipper wave to Sir Oris the Aurochs, who waits patiently out.
Thanks for waiting, Oris. Need to go to the Corbury Pavilion now.
He hefts the remaining gifts and heads in that direction.
I mean, you'll be happy to know that after this one we get to go. The rest are all at the Greentree, so it'll be less.
He gives a non-committal shrug, like he doesn't seem all that bothered.
Sorry, I got kicked out. Sorry.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, he gives a standard Oris-sized non-committal shrug at ending the errand. He doesn't seem particularly bothered by carrying things.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, like, Adam's just like he's trying to like be friendly, but in his usual way that it's really awkward. Yeah. So, again, we'll kind of go quiet, I guess, because I think partly also has noticed that like Oris is kind of making barbs and doesn't want to invite further ones at this point.
He made one barb, and then made a point of stopping, just for a reminder. But yeah, he doesn't seem to be seeking conversation, at least.
That's fine. We'll Adam's working up to it.
So the Corbray Pavilion is again pretty easy to spot. The whole point of pavilions is to be fairly easy to spot. And yeah, you make your way there. Michael Redfort is haranguing some, looks like kind of like local boys that got like hired for a couple of copper to help with loading wagons and stuff. So you can see that they're stripping their camp down to like the bare minimums. So like the actual big pavilion has been put away, and they've just got like a standard like soldiers campaigner tent type of thing. It's like they're packing everything up to leave tomorrow. So things have been kind of stripped down. And he's over there kind of overseeing a couple of, 10 or 12-year-olds in, peasant garb that are lashing things to the wagon and that sort of thing.
Would it be like would it be a serious snub to try and bypass him, or
He seems busy. Like he's kind of off to one side hollering it at the boys.
Yeah.
So Lynn Corbray.
Yeah, I think Adam's not going to like deliberately hide from him or anything, but is also not going to ask his permission if he doesn't have to.
Yeah, Lynn Corbray himself is just kind of striking a pose in the middle of their pavilion ground.
Of course he is.
Kind of faintly overseeing packing things up, but certainly not like doing it himself. So he's just kind of standing there. So yeah, you can definitely get past Michael without any problem.
Okay, just going to go ahead and approach then, because yeah, got a reason to be here. So then,
without turning his head, he goes, Adam the Archer.
yes, I have come with the rest of your agreed funds.
Fantastic. And he finally turns, the 90 degrees to face you dead on, tucking his thumbs in his sword belt, and again just doing his cat casual pose type of bullshit, which works for him. So he goes, and you brought along a pack mule to carry it, I see.
He's not a pack mule, he's a knight.
A pack aurochs. I forgot, sir.
Right, I'm not going to rise to this. Do you want this gold anywhere in particular?
Over here will do. And he just points towards the remaining pair of tents. One of them is still quite a bit larger than the other.
Right. Oh, yeah. So I'll Adam will sort of take it where indicated. I also have something for you, an incidental. I wanted to give a token of thanks for.
Shall we close the tent flaps?
Well, that's not necessary, but if you want to.
Never mind then.
I just wanted to give a token of thanks for helping to defend my family's honor, because it is appreciated regardless of your reasons for doing so.
Do go on.
Yeah, Adam will have left Doris where he was, but had taken the Lynn's gift in with him.
Sure.
And yeah, it's a black cloak with red heart motif, like stitched along the edge, with like two different kind of things in the bottom corners. One bottom corner has a silver raven outline stitched, like grabbing the corner red heart in its talons, and in the other bottom corner a silver wyvern grabbing the red heart in that corner in its jaws. Where the other cloaks have just been kind of given as they are, where like they could use whatever cloak pin they wanted, this one has a cloak pin attached that's a small ruby heart ringed in silver raven feathers.
He looks at it for a longer moment than he spent looking at like the small strong box full of gold coin, right? Or trade bars, right? And
The
Adam is sure that for about 3 good seconds, the mask of smug satisfaction and uncaring, kind of aloof nihilism falls away as he takes in the quality of the material and the clear thought that must have gone into it and all that. He looks sincerely touched for, like I said, about 3 seconds. And he goes, just leave it over the chest, I suppose.
Very well. And may it serve you well. Look, can I ask you a question?
I suppose, he says with this weary sigh.
The 1,000 gold. Were you trying to punish me?
People know when I'm punishing them, young Adam. I have debts to be paid. You were desperate for me not to murder your siblings. Everyone wins.
All right. I hope that we can consider our little dispute settled.
People know when I'm disputing them also.
If we could be frank with one another for just a few minutes, I would like to know that there's not going to be any danger coming to my family from your direction.
Why would I care about a Dornish family halfway across Westeros? No, your siblings are safe from me. Lady Forlorn will not wet herself with your spicy Dornish blood.
Well, that's good to know. Though, I want you to know that it wasn't just Lady Forlorn that I paid money for. I know that she's a special blade and all that, but I do believe that the skill of the person wielding a Valyrian weapon is at least as important as the weapon itself. So I just feel you ought not to discount yourself in that way.
You need not fear on that count, young Adam.
Right. So, just out of curiosity, what are you going to do with the gold? Is it all debts?
Some of it, I suppose, I'll donate to the family coffers as a dutiful younger son. And some of it I'll spend. Some of it I may use to create new debts.
That's fair, I suppose. Your house must be important to you then to be putting some of this wealth into it.
Duty is as duty does.
Well, I can appreciate that. I know things for some houses are not easy, and I suppose I should have said this quite some time ago, but I am sorry about your brother.
As am I. It was an unfortunate loss.
Yes, I just wanted to, clear the air and make sure that we're all right.
You get the feeling when mentioning his brother that was just kind of very much going through the motions of grieving. It wasn't an innately disrespectful thing to say, but you don't think that he and Lucas were particularly close or anything.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't particularly matter. I think that's Adam's being kind of formal there as well. The actual answer is the less important bit. Right. Well, I don't expect we'll have much occasion to meet again, so I'll wish you a safe journey and best of luck with what you go on to from here.
And you as well. I'm sure we'll be hearing tales of Adam the Archer even in the Vale in no time.
Well, I'll endeavour to make them interesting ones.
Oh, if House Nymerian's last week has been anything to go by, I am certain they will.
Oh, that's the nicest thing he's ever said.
And all right, well, I should be going, but I'm glad we met, Serwyn.
As am I. And he gestures towards the strong box full of coin.
Yes, well, enjoy having that to remember me by, I suppose. 7 blessings to you.
And you.
Yeah, Adam's going to flee, I guess, from that, because that's about as much awkwardness as he can take.
At the tiniest backwards glance as you are going, you see that he's sitting in the tent, and one hand is reached out and is touching the cloak a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
Any other gifts to deliver, or is that the end point of this?
Adam has gotten gifts as well for Oris, Bela, and Luke, and had a thing made for Will, but like those are all things that can be dealt with in the one place.
All right.
So my thought was to head back and give those, and then try to have a quiet word with Oris and give the apology that I need to give.
Sure. So what we'll do is go ahead and take our break as the camera fades on Lynn Corbray sitting quietly in the semi-privacy of his tent, almost looking warm and human for a moment. And when we come back from our break, we will cut back over to the Greentree and see what the rest of the Nymerians are up to as Adam and Oris arrive there with Santa's sled full of gifts. So we'll be back after a short break, everybody. Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their little 10-minute break from us going on about uncanny sexual tension, or relieved sexual tension, or uncanny just social tension, or whatever. But we are back. So let's jump cut to the Greentree, where we'll say this has been, people have been kind of meandering around for the afternoon and stuff. Oris had some stuff to take care of back at the pavilions, and he just said like he'll bring the rest of the gifts to the Greentree with you when he goes there for dinner in like an hour. So just kind of everybody has a little bit of downtime, and then we're gonna cut to like dinner at the Greentree, which is gonna be you lot and Lord Barrick and young Lord Edric Dane, and Lady Alisane and little Robert Frey, who is doing push-ups when you guys get there, as Oris is like, you got to work for your supper, and is making him do some push-ups before he can eat. And Balin Swan swings by wearing his dapper new cloak. And let's see. I think that was basically everybody they had planned. Yeah, say that's everybody. Oh, except Sir Garland Tyrell. Yay! Not the Lady Olena, but Sir Garland is there. So he is chatting amiably with Balin Swan, discussing the merits of Sword versus Morningstar, no doubt. But, everyone's just kind of paired off and chatting away. It looks like Lord Barrick is talking to his exact counterpart Lady Alisane, who you may remember Beric Dondarrion beat in the joust. But he seems to be giving her some how to take care of a squire tips and that sort of thing. Edric and little Robert are now in a push-off or a push-up off, competing as young boys do. Bessa of Flea Bottom has taken Lyle Brewer's spot behind the bar and is clucking at the two squires to finish and eat their food before it gets cold. But they are pointedly ignoring her because now they're competing. So that's kind of the default atmosphere with NPCs hanging out. So Ash is going to be right back. He had some connection issues, so that's fine. Adam is just changing clothes upstairs, getting himself presentable for dinner. So what is Lucaris up to with this mixture of NPCs that are hanging out?
He's gonna kind of sit down, nice and comfortable, grab some food, and then scold the two squires who are off, basically measuring dicks. You two. I'm gonna say as he looks at them.
They glance your way, and then they glance sidelong at each other, and they see that the other one hasn't stopped. So, like, they stop in the up position to look at you, and then they look sideways, and then they go back to push-ups.
A lady has prepared food for you. Why don't you guys come down and sit? Why don't you guys both come and sit? The contest could happen later.
They do like 2 more push-ups, looking sidelong at each other, and then they both like stop in the up position, and they kind of hesitantly get out of form, and like, together they stand up, and then they rush over to Bessa and scoop up some food. You guys have like a hearty stew that is augmented by Bessa's rolls.
Smile.
She's got big yeasty rolls for everybody to dip right into the stew with.
Does.
And all that good
Of
stuff.
course she does. Oh, Bessa.
Yeah, I give Bessa a little smile, and then I dip some of my rolls, and you just gotta let the spotlight move on.
All right, then. How about Lady Reyna? Who are you socializing with in this gathering of fairly likable Westerosi types?
I will make myself available to Beric and Balin. Just kind of. Oh, and Alisane, of course. Just be a gracious host.
Right. So just
And
generally playing hostess.
and I'm especially mellow and very relaxed.
Okay. Once again, Lord Beric is not slyly winking at you or anything like that. He's just keeping up the standard conversation that he's been. He is flirting with the Lady Alisane as much as he's flirting with you. He's flirting with Bessa behind the bar as much as he's flirting with you.
Right.
It's just his kind of standard, good-natured carrying on. Sir Garland is not eating as much as others, but he does not refuse the food or anything. He did already eat before coming over. He explains apologetically, but he goes, "Oh, but I can't deny one of the roles that we've all been hearing about, Sir young Adam the Archer's favorites. I hear. Perhaps my skill with a bow will improve if I eat heartily enough."
I
think that was Bessa having a bit of fun.
Yet another form of warfare.
Psychological warfare, yes.
When things settle down, I would like to talk to Sir Garland.
Let me hit up Ash/Adam first while he's here and has Little Crunch. So let's establish kind of just where Adam is hanging out while the connection's.
Yeah, I restarted, so it's behaving now. Well, once Adam's gotten back to the Greentree, he'll have taken Bella and Luke's cloaks to them and told them why.
All right. Pick one. Who's up first?
Well, since we don't have Bella here, I thought I would just describe
Oh,
that.
but yeah. Yeah. Go ahead then. Or you. Yeah, we'll do that.
But yeah, Bella and Luke's cloaks are probably the most similar ones. Like I guess gone up and paid Bella a visit anyway. Her cloak is scarlet with silver wyverns stitched all along the edge. Though the every seventh one has a gold spear in its tail. Luke's is also it looks almost the same, except every seventh wyvern has the gold sun crown over its head.
Very nice.
I've also although he didn't make it, I had a cloak made for our cousin Will to. I thought it could be used to wrap him for burial, because he still fought for us, and I think that still deserved acknowledgement. That cloak is yellow with black snakes stitched along the edge, and every seventh one is a black wyvern.
Yeah. The plan is for you all to pick up his body from the sept, like not the great sept, like one of the secondary smaller septs around the city, to pick it up in the morning as you all are leaving, basically. But yeah, that's a pretty fine looking cloak.
Adam, this is for me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everyone who took part in the trial by 7, I had a cloak made for.
Luke runs his fingers along the cloth and the edge. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. I thought it was worth commemorating.
There hasn't been a trial by 7 for, what was it, 80, 90 years?
Exactly.
And yet it cost us Cousin Will, so.
He knew what he was getting into. It doesn't make his loss any less sad, but he didn't have any illusions about how dangerous it was.
I haven't checked too much, but is it true Cousin Will had no heir?
None that we know of. That's a matter that I suppose is going to be talked about with the prince, probably, about who House Will falls to now.
And with Cousin Monteris ill, we may have won a victory in King's Landing, but us Wyverns we're a rare group left, aren't we?
Yes, there's not many dragons left, and yes, the victory has come at a high cost, unfortunately.
Well, we will definitely, I'm sure it's already been decided, but we will definitely make sure that respects are paid to Cousin Will and his people, and what becomes his lands, I don't know. I'm sure there's a bastard or another distant cousin somewhere who will take them over, but it's he didn't hesitate at all to help us, did he?
He won't lack for honors. It will all be done properly, and yes, he'll receive all the honors that he deserves.
This plot Lucas's. It's been very costly to us Dornish people. So, I didn't mean it down. I apologize. I pour some wine. Dear brother, let's at least enjoy what we have, shall we?
Yeah. Well, just if you give me if you give me a couple of minutes, I just need to have a word with Oris, and then I'll join you.
Need to drink.
Of course.
Oris, for his part, is back at a little table by himself with a larger bowl of stew and about half a tray of rolls. He's been working his way through. He's completely eating the stew with the rolls and stuff. It's like, I grunted away any sort of implement to eat with. He's like, no. He learned to eat with Bessa's yeasty rolls. So by gods, he's eating with them. But he's just kind of sitting off by himself in a very Orisian fashion.
Right. Yeah. So Adam will take the last bundle over and approach. Oris, do you mind if I sit with you for a minute?
Guess not.
I won't be long. Just this last one's for you. I'll sit down next to him. Not like super close, but like close enough that we're not going to be easily overheard.
He kind of freezes for a second when you mention that you also have a gift for him, but then just kind of gives a curious grunt.
I wanted to thank everyone who fought for House Nymerian in the trial by 7, and that includes you. So that this is a gift for you, for defending our honor.
He looks exasperated by it, and he's like, "But you already got me knighted. I didn't do it for gifts and such."
Like that was you being knighted was a thing you earned in your own right. That's not to do with this.
Oh, I'm sure I was going to get a king to anoint me, left all to my own devices.
Look, will you just take the bloody thing and not argue with me, please? like Adam's sounding like a little exasperated, but not angry. Just it's still in a mostly friendly way. Oris's cloak that he's had made is midnight blue, the same really dark blue from his sigil with silver aurochs charging all along the edge. But every 7th one is a wyvern, so he's gone with the 7 and the wyvern thing.
Looks fancy.
Well, you deserve something finer. And like I say, everyone who took part in the trial by 7 for House Nymerian has one. So, well, not identical. I had them stitched with different things for the different people.
I saw them.
Well, you had to know this was coming then.
No. Figured you could have given gifts to the other 6.
Oris, I've never known someone who deserved so much expect so little.
Come to expect what I come to expect from riding the roads with Woolly Will, and don't expect much.
Well, I suppose you're better than some entitled, annoying Joffrey type then.
Better at some things.
Well, your humility does you credit, but you should know that you're appreciated as well. You're too hard on yourself. like I know it's been really awkward today, and well, more than today, and I want to apologize for being mean to you. It was uncalled for and ungallant of me, and I realise now that I spoke to you like that because I was hurt and I was jealous. And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. Just, I ain't no serving wench bringing food to your brother that you can go groping and kissing and such whenever you want. I might just be some bastard that was a squire, and you might be some fancy castle folk lord, but that don't just mean you can do things to me.
All right, just so it's clear, does this mean I can't grope Oris when I want?
No, I know, and I never thought you were. I'm sorry that I upset you. I was only trying to tell you how I felt. I didn't expect anything from you. I'm disappointed that you don't feel the same way, but I respect your decision. I'm going to try and be all right with it. I'm not there yet, but I'm going to try, because I still value your friendship.
Well, you want to roll or something?
No,
He's offering you food. That's a pretty big deal to Oris. Get the feeling that means he's probably cool with you now.
All right, I'll have a half of one.
He rips one up, hands it your way.
Just out of curiosity, you don't have to answer this, but if I was 6 and 10 and not 5 and 10, would your answer have been different?
7 hells.
Like I want to know.
Go fetch Lord Commander Barristan Selmy before we talk about this a bit louder. And he shoots a glare over at your sister.
Okay, I'm all right. I'm sorry. I'll leave it. Never mind. I wanted to give you something else. Like I've been holding on to it for a little while, and since the melee, and since I'm already making you feel awkward by giving you a gift, I might as well just get it out of the way. And then he's put down on top of the cloak the fragment of the gold antler from Robert's helmet that he's had capped with like a gold sort of setting on a loop, and then put on a chain, and sort of turned it into a pendant. I recovered this from after the melee. It's from the King's helmet, because because I know you pass off your achievements onto other people all the time, and I wanted you to have a reminder that our victory was because of you. That you had a part in us winning. In getting as far as we got, we've achieved so much because of you, not despite you, and I wanted you to remember that.
Thanks. He just looks a little flustered.
Yeah.
Maybe like he is, he is Oris from several days ago. At this moment,
Yeah.
He was just leave it there. I don't want to get grease and such on it.
No, that's all right. And like, if you want to talk about your father, like your real father, I'm willing to talk to you about that.
What you mean?
Well, I rather thought you had you picked up on this from when the Master of Ships and John Aaron were over asking about you, but we know who he is.
You know who?
Oh shit! You just
What?
I
told
don't
him?
remember clearing this
I mean, I
And like,
didn't tell him no lies or nothing.
no, you didn't. You didn't tell any lies. Like you didn't lie about anything. That's all fine. There's nothing wrong there. Just you. Well, you were upset that Will wouldn't tell you, and I don't like keeping secrets from you. But I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't want to know, right? So
Who else knows? What? And it's getting a little bit loud over there.
no, right? Or is look, you don't. You were literally just complaining about us talking too loud, so keep it down.
Who else knows?
No,
And
right.
how long did you know?
Not long. Just
Ugh.
we could perhaps talk about it more privately, but I realise now that mentioning it out here was a mistake. So
Okay, just set it up with Miranda Royston, not Miranda Royce, with a stone girl, and back away slowly.
no. Look, right. I'm sorry. Just we forget I said anything. All right. Okay.
You can't fucking unsay something, Adam, and you can't undo something, and you can't just do things and then apologize for them later and give people gifts like they're gonna forget that you ever did or said the thing. Who else knows? That bit is certainly loud enough for other people to hear.
Shite.
Look, I'm not expecting you to just like forget or to like just like forgive me. That's not why I gave you those things.
Fucking castle folk. And he picks up his food and he leaves.
Fuck.
Just storms off outside, those long legs eating up the distance, and he does not take his pendant with him. It's just the big bowl of stew, all the rolls, and out he goes.
Fuck, I'm an idiot.
It's pretty noticeable to the other PCs that are
Okay.
present.
Luke stands up and he walks out with to follow Oris.
Oris goes straight across the street. Like he just got up, left, and was walking right to the Greentree.
Sir Oris.
The Jade.
Leaving the Greentree, going to the Jade Spring. He stops, and you can see him sigh. And this is, dinner time. It's post sundown by a bit, but like you could see his shoulders just sling. He goes, "What?"
I'm half responsible for getting united. I wish to talk to you. If you want to talk to me as an equal, then I challenge you to a fight.
Don't make me put down my stew to kill you. What do you want, Luke? And
Can we talk, Horace?
He sighs
About
and
what just
turns
happened.
around. I don't want to. I got one last night in this fucking city to live on me own and not be on the road back to Woolly Will and whatever secrets he's been keeping from me my whole life that I just turned out I'm the last dumb cunt to hear. So can I just have this one night to eat some stew and eat some rolls and drink some wine and fuck some whores and sleep on my own in a big pavilion tent I can pretend is mine. Could we talk about it tomorrow on the road? And if you want to fight on some roadside, I'll leave your body in a ditch tomorrow instead of leaving it in a gutter tonight.
No, I don't wish to fight you, Oris. Love your confidence, though. I have some knowledge upon which my brother was speaking. If you wish to talk about it tonight, I can give it to you. We are equals. I have nothing to hide from you. Um, if
I
you wish to
don't.
hold off till later, that is fine as well. But as a knight, I figured I would give you that opportunity to make that decision.
Later it is. And he turns around and starts back towards the Jade.
One more thing, Oris.
Piss off, Luke.
No,
Fuck.
you want to hear
And
this.
He stops. Yeah, like he stops. He doesn't turn back around, but he stops and kind of turns his head.
There's a girl from Lease. She's quite good at what she does. Ask about her.
He shakes his head and gives a sigh and stomps off.
I would have laughed at myself a little bit, but also shake my head. Tomorrow, when you're sober, when this is all done, if you want to talk about it, come to me.
The door to the Greentree shuts. Sorry, the door to the Jade Spring shuts. Meanwhile, inside the Greentree, after Oris and Luke go outside, does Reyna do anything? Everyone else is politely ignoring things. Alisane is politely ignoring it after a good-natured elbow from Balin Swan. So, like, she stops gawking, like, oh, right, this is one of those things. But, Reyna, you've got formerly Oris's table that is now apparently Adam's table.
I'll go check on my brother. Put his foot in it because he's a kid, and that's what kids do.
Well, I mean, Adam's just sort of sat like sort of stunned and horrified and unable to parry. Yeah, is just fucking mortified. And like, yeah, like looking like he just wants to shrink into that corner and never come back.
I swipe some wine on the way over there and just sit down next to him, put the glass in front of him, glass in front of me. That went to shit rather quickly.
Yeah, I can't even do an apology right.
Well,
I'm
for the
surprised.
record,
I'm surprised even you want to talk to me. I fucked up really bad, Reyna.
okay. Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
I nearly told him about his father because I thought I was being helpful, and I have made him really angry. So I completely undid my previous apology and fucked everything up. And yeah, now he's gone. And I would like to kill myself now.
no, we're not doing that tonight. Here's the thing. Mistakes were made. Mistakes?
Masterful use of the passive voice, sister.
Well, it's done. And you are
An idiot?
I've made so many mistakes in dealing with people.
Really?
It took me way too long to learn how to read people. And the ones I'm closest with, I'm the worst at reading accurately, except for Bela. When our hearts are involved, our minds do not work correctly. And honestly, the only way to get any better at it is to keep making mistakes. I'm sorry.
Uh, I- mistakes are dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Definitely.
I don't want to hurt anyone because of my stupidity, but I seem to keep doing it.
Despite his great size, Oris is also young and makes a lot of the same mistakes that you do. He's not good with people at all. He misreads people's intentions very frequently.
Well, yeah, he's like seemed to have a completely wrong idea of what happened the other night. Like, what he thought I was doing was it was hurtful to hear him think that I would do that.
Well, when has he ever not been used? He can't
I've been-
comprehend of a world in which he is not a tool to be manipulated by castle folk or Woolly Will.
I don't feel I don't feel like I've manipulated him, not on purpose. I've tried to be honest and forthright with him, but that doesn't seem to work. It seems like the more honest and forthright and warm I am with him, the more he pushes me away.
That may be the best way he knows to protect himself.
Well,
And I know you don't really think that you need to be something to be protected from. I mean, it's hard, but I'm trying to say from the outside because I am not the one who is embroiled in this relationship.
what relationship? There isn't a relationship.
Oh, there's a relationship, or you wouldn't be nearly so.
Well, whatever it is, it's very one-sided, and it looks like it's going to stay that way forever. So I just need to stay away from him. And
I do think you should give him some time. Is that for him? I pointed the pin.
yes, it was a bit of the king's helmet. I had it made into a necklace for him, but he left without it.
I will take it.
Oh,
I will make sure that it returns to him.
I don't think he wants anything to do with it or me, to be honest, Rena.
Let's not assume what Oris wants on his behalf.
All right. Fine, just don't let anyone else see it. I don't want people to know.
Yes. Yes.
And
not a problem.
I don't mean that I'm not ashamed of how I feel. I don't want anyone to use it to hurt him. You know.
I know. He's gonna hurt himself plenty fine. Okay, that's what he does. if I
that does not give me any solace, Rena.
well, it's what he does. He gets upset and he hurts him. He gets mad. He gets sad. It all comes out the same way, which is drinking. And we all drink, but he drinks like an oryx.
I well, you know, I tried that too, and it doesn't really stop me from feeling things, but I suppose I can be distracted for a little while.
Yeah, we'll let him be. I mean, just
I'm sorry, man. I know we weren't supposed to say anything about what we knew, but it's really I've hated keeping a secret from him. It's been tearing me up since I knew that it was real.
did you tell him?
No, I alluded to knowing.
Oh, that's not sure to enrage anybody.
Oh well, that's what he got angry about. So I'm
All right.
I'm
All
sorry. I thought by offering to give him the information if he wanted it would help give him some kind of I don't know. I thought it would help, but it didn't.
No. Apparently it didn't.
Hmm.
So, right now, we'll just let him be. And you will stay here. You will eat something.
I have half a roll.
You will eat more than half a roll.
I don't really feel like eating.
Very well.
But fine, I'll eat if it stops people telling me to eat.
If I'm the second person to tell you to eat, then you should definitely eat.
Yeah, and well, Bessa will probably be the third, so.
Oh, surprised she wasn't the first. Very well. You do that, and I will go talk to one of those handsome gentlemen right there.
Speaking of handsome gentlemen, Lord Dundarian asked me a strange question.
Did he?
Yes, I took his gift to him, and he asked if you preferred any of his cloaks over the others. Like, is there one that you liked in particular? Do you?
I have a special place in my heart for the one that he first placed around my shoulders the night that we were told that we have to do the trial of Seven.
Right. I just say I didn't know that, so I said I didn't know, but all right, that makes sense.
For the record, that was the satin one.
Right.
It was quite nice, and
but yes,
absolutely.
he seems to hold you in very high esteem, and that's I was curious about that. That's all.
Well, he'd better.
So Adam's going to kind of sort of wave off like, yeah, I'm okay now, but he is going to like hustle to over to Beric Dundarian to tell him this information. But like try and make it look like he's being subtle. Like, oh no, I'm just passing by the way. By the way, Lord Dundarian, she prefers the satin one.
So, in the few moments of quiet after all that, and Lord Beric giving Adam a little like nod and like a little toast, like, "Oh, thanks," for that. The door opens to the Greentree, but instead of Oris returning, or Luke, it sounded like Luke was going back somewhere else. Where did you end up going, Luke?
Yeah, Luke is also going to the Greentree to
Or
enjoy it and
to the Jade
harass
Spring.
Oris a little bit. Yeah, the Jade Spring, sorry.
Oris will, by the time you get there, he was already like just stomping upstairs, and is like, "Pick someone," to the madam, and just off he goes to a room that the door will shut, and he will need not be pestered by Nymerians. These silver-haired dragon folkers, as King Robert might say. But Entering the Greentree in lieu of Oris or Luke is the Blackfish, Sir Brendan Tully,
Oh, I want to go back.
along with the buxom young lady Miranda Royce,
Oh, shit.
and
Oh,
the less buxom but taller and broader shouldered Maya Stone. So the three of them enter. The Blackfish is carrying a bottle of wine with a fancy House Aaron like ribbon / seal on it in like that sky blue, and there's like a wax seal holding the ribbon down.
Rusty, with my perception, would their approach have been at all apparent as I was leaving the?
You saw them through the window as you were entering the Jade Spring.
Okay.
So you could double back and arrive alongside them, so you're not missing out on a scene. As Oris hurried away,
with Oris vanishing and then them showing up, I'll be like, well, okay, I don't have time for this, Oris. I gotta go back.
So the three of them arrive. The lady Maya Stone's hair has been cut freshly. I don't remember if I mentioned that last time you all saw her, but she now has like a kind of fashionable, like it is a purposeful like pixie cut, right? Not the kind of uneven chop that it had been like the first couple times you saw her. So you suspect Miranda Royce finally wore her down after several days here in King's Landing. And she's still wearing kind of manly garb, in that it's breeches and a tunic and a vest, but it is certainly tailored for her, and it's clean and it's new, and it is accenting her figure instead of being kind of shapeless men's garb that she is hiding in. So she looks not quite fancy, but she seems to have been harangued into dressing a little more appropriately than you've seen in the past. Lady Miranda Royce, of course, is looking as gorgeous as ever, showing off curves that are second only to Bessa here in the Greentree. She's, kind of short, plump, pleasantly curvy. And of course, there's Brendan Tully, who's lean and weathered and white of hair and kind of, storm red of face. He's got that kind of weathered, leathered, Western type of face that you expect in like a cowboy, like grizzled old cowboy in a Western. Like that's him. He's just a knight instead of a cowboy. But he's also dressed in appropriate finery for a knight of the gate. So it looks like they're kind of making the rounds of some parties since everyone's getting ready to leave. So the Blackfish approaches Lady Reyna as the ranking member of the house. He goes, a farewell gift. Some Aaron reserve that we held on to, and thought I'd pass it on as congratulations, now that we're all quite certain you lot aren't butchers and murderers and such.
We will accept that happily and drink right now.
It's a fine Vale of Aaron vintage, a nice dark red wine. There are surprisingly fertile crescents and little valleys and stuff, not crescents, but little valleys and spots there in the Vale of Aaron that are surprisingly fertile and green and all that. And this is one of the fairly nice wines from up there. He makes a big show of breaking the wax seal and undoing the ribbon and all that, and presenting it to you with perhaps surprising courtly grace, but then perhaps not when you remember that he is the younger brother of the Lord of the Riverlands. So for all that he enjoys this kind of gruff, grandfatherly exterior and the reputation of being a war hero, he was, raised in Westerosi courts to be a noble lord. So he kind of makes almost a sardonic show of all of it, like pouring a little and letting you sniff it. And, you know, like he goes through the motions, and you can see there's a bit of a sly smile on his face. And he's looking sidelong, specifically at Sir Garland Tyrell, while he's doing all the fancy wine stuff that Southerners, or well, to you guys Northerners, seem to like. So it looks like it's almost, but not quite teasing about it.
Right.
But he goes through all these motions of a fine vintage being presented to a highborn lady and all that. But yeah, there's enough for everyone to get some. But he definitely starts with the members of House Nymerian.
With me.
Yes, specifically you first, then Adam, and then other people gathered around.
Good. We will.
We're the most important.
Gracious. We are. Right now.
And
Or rich.
if I could have one more glass, my lady, perhaps one for your fallen cousin. Eh?
Yes.
I think that's appropriate.
Yes.
We poured all too many of these on the stepstones, but from all I saw, young Lord Will fought ably and bravely. So he pours the last of the bottle. It's kind of a half proper drink for the will of Will.
To Cousin Will.
Cousin Will.
To the will of Will. Sir Garland raises his, Beric Dondarrion, Balin Swan, a host of Reach Knights and Storm Lords toast the fallen Dornishmen, which is pretty remarkable when you consider the history of House Will and the houses of the Reach and the Stormlands.
We're unifiers. We are.
That's what we thought with the Lucases too. So
Well,
we're
when
mending-
sometimes being a unifier means uniting people against you, I suppose.
That's a whole different faction. They're not here. So we'll drink.
yeah, Luke will return at some point afterwards, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, he shows up as they're pouring the toasts and stuff. Like you weren't gone that long. So you're able to get in on the toast and get poured a drink, etc., etc.
No, I'll have one.
I
Thank you. I'll say it out loud.
And Miranda Royce like seconds the toast and to the gallant victors of the Princess Marcella's tourney.
I'll give a half smile, then raise my glass
To victory.
to victory.
to honor.
To honor.
Maya Stone raises her glass to leaving King's Landing soon.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
hell yeah.
To leave it King's Landing.
We'll need more wine for that one.
A more
Uh,
wretched hive of scum and
Unclear
villainy
where
have not
Luke
yet.
produced it from, but he's now having 2 drinks and drinking both of them to that.
Yeah, and Maya, the rough-hewn bastard of the Vale, downs the last of her wine to that toast.
Yes. To finally leaving this wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Right.
And she gives the blackfish a punch in the arm, and to dodging the watchful gaze of my chaperone, the Knight of the Bloody Gate, who once we're back in the Vale will have bigger things to worry about.
Whoa. Good luck with that one, lady.
Sir Tully,
Sir Tully.
Yes,
I appreciate you, your presence here. Thank you.
I wanted at least one good drink of that wine, and sharing it with you lot seemed as good an excuse as any to break that ribbon.
Well, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but if you ever wish to journey south, we might have a few more cases of that wine.
Look, I got a tail.
You got a what?
I have
What?
a tail. It was Bodhi's tail.
Oh, yeah, Bodhi's tail is sticking up just a little bit in the corner. There it
Oh,
goes. There you got
oh
the
hey,
tail.
Bodhi. Good girl.
So he goes, I haven't been to Dorne in quite a long time. Perhaps if there's a tourney or some other excuse for me to head that way.
What a wonderful idea.
Well, we may have to find an excuse.
Well, I am ever sent where duty takes me. Perhaps some other young ladies might need escorts to travel somewhere afield.
Well, these young ladies have already been invited, I believe. In fact, they might have helped me to fine tune the idea to have one.
Miranda gives you a giggle behind her fan again. She goes, "Only if there's going to be a writing contest. Oh, perhaps also one for women onlys. We might have a chance
These
against
are all
these
fantastic
knaves
ideas.
and scoundrels with all their time in the saddle. It's hardly fair."
You know what? I'm in favor of that.
I also am in favor of that, but then you'd have to compete against my sister.
Well, we could
You
poison
will.
her.
No, we could not.
Well, now,
Let's-
Lady Royce, I have given her my word. I will only allow half poisoning. The other half left to be a spear.
Shake my head.
Oh.
Well,
Goodness,
I distinctly recall Grand Maester Pycelle making it very clear at that last feast that poison is the weapon of women.
Well, it's
Yes.
I have a sword.
Well,
think
I don't, so poison it is. Or
Why
am
don't we
I
just distract her?
to wield other charms as weapons?
I'm going to put a hand on her shoulder and pour her a drink. Lady Royce, you may wield whatever weapon you find appropriate.
I love that we can just joke about poison now. Like, not even a couple of days have passed.
She gives Raina a very scandalous look, and she goes, "Do you think I could distract her?" And she very pointedly glances down at her curve.
Possibly.
Well then, we're definitely going to Dorne. How salacious. Maya, there's mountains everywhere. You'll love it.
There are.
Indeed, if I recall properly, it's been a few years, our home castle is built into the side of a mountain.
The rest is built into the side of a mountain.
Well, it would, and this is Maya, it would be safer than King's Landing, according to those worries that a certain grouch has been pouring in my ear all week. And Brendan Tully looks very easily convinced. Fine, we'll go to Dorne.
That
Have
was
you
the
been to Dorne
easiest
before?
arm twisting ever.
Have you ever been to Dorne, Sir Brendan?
We sailed from there for one of the attacks in the Stepstones. Rather hated it.
I take it that was the climate that you were not fond of.
Indeed, or the food. And he pats his stomach and winces.
It tastes wonderful, but then you have to pay for it later.
Too hot for this fish's belly.
I warn you, Sir Tully, I will have questions about that campaign, further ones, so...
Just read a book, lad. Oh, the best ones got written down.
It's not the same, though.
He'd rather sit
Maesters,
around.
Look
the
this
Maesters
way.
record, but they weren't there, you know?
You come think
Most
of it.
weren't, anyways.
I've
I'm sorry,
never-
Adam, please.
No, it just occurred to me that I've never seen you reading a book.
I mean...
There weren't any for you to collect from his chambers.
Yes,
Shirts everywhere.
all shirts and no book.
One woman's boot was also under that bed.
What?
But no
returned
books that you saw.
But
Yes, I mean, I hope she didn't turn into a pumpkin.
I haven't exactly had the coin to buy books when I've been here, but you read what you can from the libraries, from the Maesters, and again, I prefer the first-hand accounts from the Blackfish and from Sir Salmi have been instrumental. It's fantastic, really.
I mean, that's fair, but
I mean, am I on trial here? Is that what's happening, Adam?
No, not at all. I was just
No.
doing
We
some.
will have to fight to the death to prove who's innocent. That is the case. I guess you can have my sword if you want. I'll use the spear.
I was just engaging in banter, brother.
I grin and I slap on the back.
Lord.
I have read several books, as far as you should be concerned.
I own many leather-bound books, and my room smells of rich mahogany.
Rich
Or
mahogany.
something. I don't know. You would me, brother. As a knight, I am a student of all things.
We know,
Yes.
but well, still, even the most widely learned maesters have a specialty. Yours is apparently losing your shirt.
Mine is something. We'll put it that way.
Moving swiftly on.
Look for his, as he's been healing, he actually looks to be in pretty decent shape. Although he's sore everywhere, so nobody please test that.
Yeah. Sore everywhere. I'm still sore.
There's training with your armor on, and there's fighting the death, and one of those is a little different than the other.
I mean, at least you avoided the death.
Right?
One hopes, brother.
I'm very glad that I still have all my siblings intact.
Again, I am but a knight. I study the romances and the courtly arts, and if I have to take a martial weapon up, I suppose I will do so, but that is not what I am out to do.
I'm sorry, I lost track in the bantering.
But Miranda, for her part, is now standing between Luke and Reyna, and shamelessly flirting with both. Almost as though it had never occurred to her to flirt with a woman before. And now she's like, let's try this. I wonder if all the same stuff works. So she's just occasionally touching an arm and leaning a little too close and forward. And, just like what a fun new game this is. Very much the vibe that you're getting from her.
Lord, I can't.
Yeah, at one point, Luke puts a hand on her shoulder and on Reyna's shoulder and just like,
That was really crunchy, and I'm kind of glad for it. I think.
yeah, damn, fuck.
Yeah, you went, and then you crunched out on us. So let's repeat that line, pretty please.
Yes. Luke basically just looks at his sister and says, "I'm all for teamwork."
Oh.
If Miranda thinks she's going to embarrass House Nymeria, she is wrong.
Yeah, I think like on hearing that, Adam's basically blushed from head to foot and like trying to look anywhere else.
Oh, baby brother, I don't need help.
Oh, I'm not. Well, that's good because I'm not getting involved in any of this. I'm horrified.
You guys actually then hear rhythmic grunting from not terribly far away, almost on cue. But in taking a look, it is a push-up contest that seems to be finishing as young Robert Frey is struggling to straighten up. Edric Dane is good for about 2 more push-ups, and then Maya Stone keeps going for 10 more. Gloating at the 2 boys before leaping handily to her feet. And she goes,
"Well done, Lady Stone. Well done."
And that's why you keep doing it. So that Oris told you well. And then she snatches up a flagon of ale that Beric Dondarrion had, And you get the feeling that perhaps Barrick and Alisane were also just kind of wagering on it. Snatches up the flagon from Lord Barrick and drinks about half of it.
As Robert Frey gets up, exhausted, Lucian can clear his throat and look at him in the eyes and go, uh, Robert Frey, have you seen to Lady Janet tonight in the last couple hours?
I brought her food when we was all getting scooped at first, and she took it, and she was polite, and then she shut the door right in my face.
Have you offered any wine since then?
Not since then, on account of she shut the door right in my face.
He's right.
Would you please do so before you participate in another contest of might and strength?
I can try, but
I give him a very friendly smile as I say so.
Can I wait a few minutes? My arms feel all noodly.
What would Aura say about that?
But Oris ain't here, sir. And he'd honestly probably say I should eat something.
He would. Oris never turns down food.
Well, I can't disagree with the boy, so have yourself a bite and a drink, and then offer her something so she's not so alone. She's obviously welcome down here, though I don't expect she'll want to come down. So,
Yes, sir. I'll do it in just a few moments, sir.
by the way, make it clear to her if she wants an audience with me, she can have one at any time. I don't expect she does, but
just as he opened his mouth to talk, Miranda lets out a peal of laughter. Oh, I think all the women in King's Landing already know that, Luke.
Hi, Miranda. How are you doing?
I love her.
Smashingly, thank you.
Clearly, I'm gonna reach down and grab her drink and drink it.
Maya finishes her drink and then looks pretty red in the face, and you suspect it's not from downing that flagon in 2 gulps. She goes, speaking of Oris, where might he be? I don't see him here tonight.
Yeah, he's
Out for a
out.
walk.
I just, I heard he was knighted. I thought perhaps I'd congratulate him before we all left and such.
He was the king himself, actually. Was there and spoke between both of them.
She nods kind of excitedly and then casts a sidelong look at the blackfish and kind of gets formal again. She goes, yes, I'd heard. It's quite an honor for, a Waters or a Stone or, any of us.
He may be busy tonight, but tomorrow on the road he'll be free if you want to meet him before we leave.
We're heading out the north gates. I don't think we'll be seeing you lot in the morning. Just putting extra miles on the poor beast's hooves if we do.
That is unfortunate. If you have a letter you'd like to leave him, though, I will take it to him.
Oh no, I don't think either of us are much for letters.
She snorted.
Luke gives a warm smile and kind of nods, and also kind of nods to Miranda. If I may be so bold, I believe all of our retinue will miss you. You two, you three, have all been much joy to us. Good friends in King's Landing.
Well, and the blackfish taking over. I'm sure that we feel the same. Now that everyone's quite certain that you aren't a lot of murderous butchers.
I feel as relaxed as you do about that, since I wasn't involved. It would have been my siblings being murderous butchers.
Or was it butchering murderers?
Some combination thereof.
We all know how rumors go.
It's actually quite sad. Adam Dannett died seeking justice for those folk. He didn't realize what was happening, but still, that was a very knightly thing to happen. And I inquired about his remains, but it seems they'll be going with the Ironwood retinue. So,
The lords he swore fealty to. I suppose that makes sense in a way. But yeah, he seemed a good lad. Well, at least the Weasley little bastard behind it all will die in the cold someday.
others take him.
There's many a good man that served at that wall, but more than a few bad ones. So, if he acts the way he acted down here, like as not, he'll get his throat slit before too long. And he says it like all upbeat, like, yeah, it'll be great. You know, like to reassure you guys, like, oh, it'll be fine. He's insufferable. Someone will murder him. Like, it's just kind of a normal thing to be happy about, you know.
If I'm not mistaken, the Lord Commander's a Mormont, is he not?
Lady Alisane just butts in from across the room, almost as though she'd been waiting. She goes, he is, and the best of our men in generations or more.
And the Maester is, well, kin of ours, if I'm not mistaken. If justice is to be done on the wall, it will be done then.
And she just, like I said, she just kind of cuts in. She goes, oh, I mean, Uncle J.R., he's a good man. And I'm sure that Orton will have to tell him what he's getting sent up there for. And, oh, Uncle J.R., he'll take no guff.
Maybe I'll put a letter up there at some point.
I get the impression that it's a characteristic of Mormonts to not take any guff.
Oh, no. And we brook no cunning about us, neither. You try spinning lies and we'll just chomp you good.
That's so comfortable. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that that's refreshing.
Isn't it?
Mm.
We'll have to visit North at some point.
Oh, you should. It's lovely.
I could take you lot home if you want to come see some proper weather instead of all this sun and such.
Well,
I'm sorry, what was that term you used? It was a weeder?
Weather.
No,
you're just being silly.
I don't know what that is.
Got you good bracing winds and sea spray on your.
Wait, it gets colder.
There's this white fluffy stuff called snow, and it's quite fun. Except when you have to ride along a mountain ridge in it.
Sure, yeah, I believe you. Okay.
Easier to trust.
No, it's easier to
trust your own 2 feet up there.
No, that's rather the problem. But well,
here we stand, not here we prance about on ponies and such. Stand. That's our house words, and that's no coincidence. Coincidence, I said it right. That's.
Aye.
Then, yes, before I die, I would like to see this wall in the north. So.
Oh, I do not intend to ever go that far north.
Lady Ellison, are there bears on Bear Island?
Nothing but.
Everyone's a bear on Bear Island.
Are they ferocious?
Oh, depends on who you ask. But yes, she says excitedly.
I've never seen a bear. But not a real one with my own eyes. That would be interesting.
Oh, we gotta take you lot north.
Well,
while we're all talking, I'm gonna move towards Sir Garland as Adam's talking. Sorry.
Oh, you just stayed with them Manderly folk. They're Southerners.
North? They're Southerners.
Oh. First off, they're just mainlanders, not proper Northerners. And second, they're Southerners even compared to the mainlanders. They're practically, no, they don't count. Not proper Northern folk.
I see. Well,
No
I
true
shall have to,
northerner.
I shall have to correct that someday then.
Well, you boys can totter north with Lady Alisane. I will stay in the balmy south and lounge in my
Well, I think I just
courtyard
want to.
with my fig trees.
Well, I just want to see more of the world before it shrinks on me.
You got the wasting sickness or something?
No, just our grandfather wants us to get married, and I'd rather do some traveling before that.
Mainlanders.
What?
Getting married and getting told when to get married and all that. No,
It's bullshit, isn't it?
Bullshit.
not for me, thanks.
Especially a fourth born. I mean, really.
Was there not any? But you have a daughter.
Oh, hi. And a son, too. Little bear cubs they are. Fierce. She's almost 10.
Oh, wow.
Nigh grown, that one.
Are they back at Bear Island?
Aye. Mom's looking after her.
They'll be swinging morning stars before too long.
Axes. None of those fancy clubs. We like tools that are also weapons. We keep things simple and direct on Bear Island, we do.
That makes sense.
But my mom's looking after him. Lady of Bear Island and all. She doesn't mind a couple more.
Okay.
You know, we may have differences, but I like your people. You guys know what's important.
You lot seem all right for Dornishmen.
Why do you think? What? Way out there on way up there in the north in Bear Island. What do you hear about Dornishmen that makes us so different?
You don't wear clothes. You bed anyone who asks. I mean, anyone. Just, man or
Well-
beast.
well, that's not
I heard them little prancing horses of yours were supposed to be birthed by one of your Roynish queens originally. I don't put no truck in such superstition. Mum says my dad's a bear, but, stories they tell about your Dornish queens and your debaucheries and such, and drinking wine all the time and eating queer foods that turn other men's bowels to water. And you already heard about fighting with poison and such. That don't come up this week.
A few times.
I just idle sorts lounging in the sun and fighting by ambush and all that sort of thing.
All right.
So people think that we are underhanded, dishonorable horse fucking sluts.
On the way south, I heard the Wills get called the wildlings of the south. Them Reach fellas don't like you lot. I mean, most of them. Sir Garland seems all right.
We're on good terms with the Tyrells, and that's as good as being on good terms with the Reach, I suppose.
His mum reminds me of mine. She is a fierce one.
She
She is.
Luke is sitting down with Sir Garland, and exchanging drinks at this point. So
I've never petted an animal.
Yes, I think I can say quite unequivocally that that we don't just bed anything.
That's not what I heard. But I'll be going down there soon enough myself, and I'll find out one way or the other.
I look forward to this so much. We need to find some burly lads.
Or at least, only attractive animals.
No,
Oh, for goodness sake.
no. You'll just have to experience it for yourself. And then you can take those stories north and see how they fly.
I'll set the record straight one way or the other. Don't you worry.
The food is challenging to a lot of people.
I've heard awful tales. Things make you breathe fire and piss worse.
Breathe fire. I wish.
What? I mean, not just you lot, the dragons and such.
Well, we're wyverns. It's a bit different.
Dragon's a dragon, if you ask me. And you lot can keep them in the south.
Oh, we're half dragons. Though the other half is Dornish, so I don't know if that helps.
Exactly, but
we're that most unique combination of the two things that most Westerosi are frightened of.
She bristles just a little. She goes, hold on. I ain't frightened. I'm just curious is all.
I said most, not all. I know.
Go ahead.
I know you don't. I'm talking about these lily-livered southerners.
Aye, well, we'll see. We'll see. Leaving on the morrow, so best we see if we can drink Brewer bankrupt before we go.
I think that's a challenge. And we have an excellent team with which to take it.
So she stomps off to get a fresh flagon and such. So you lot have your pick of, I was saying, you guys have your pick of other NPCs if you want to rotate or Sir Lucaris.
So I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to hand him a drink that I grabbed from the by the counter and poured for him. I was hoping it's not too much trouble. May I speak with Lady Oleda before we leave? I want to give her my thanks, to be honest.
I'm not terribly certain she's in the mood for visitors from dashing young wastrel knights after dark, and I'm not terribly certain she's in the mood to awaken early enough to catch you lot before you leave. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt to try your luck tomorrow morning.
Both are fair concerns, and I need not to interrupt her sleep. No, I wouldn't imagine I could impress her in those manners. I want to be sincere with the Lady Oleda. She's helped us a lot, so if possible, I will swing by early tomorrow before we leave.
Indeed, we're beginning our own preparations to take our leave as well. So she may be up and about by then. We'll see.
Very well. If not, then I understand. So I don't wish to...
You could always leave a letter, Luke.
And I might, Adam, shut up. The one thing I don't want to do is bore her and waste her time.
Yeah, not to worry there. She won't let you.
I will come by before it gets too late tomorrow morning. Thank you. Sir Garland, I just wanted to let you know. I wanted to ask you.
Of course, we'll welcome any of you at the villa in the morning. I just can't promise her welcome.
And you know what? I don't expect such a promise, so...
Anybody else want to talk to Sir Garland while he's kind of on screen?
Yeah. Just briefly. Sir Garland, as a token of our esteem for your being so friendly and gracious with us, we we would very much like to help you replace your broken swords.
Ah, how thoughtful of you. I've already spoken with Tobo Mott to begin work on a new one. But if you've got some idea for the guard or the like, you could leave him a note, and I'm sure he could work it in, and it could still be something of a surprise.
Well, I rather thought you would have already begun speaking with him, so we would just allow us to pay for it for you.
Ah, deucedly decent of you. Quite generous. Of course, and my thanks.
Good. Yeah, that was all. That was all Adam had for that, really. And he kind of wanted to ask Sir Brendan one brief thing as well, but it's just sort of whenever.
All right, we've got Edric Dane and Robert Frey. Robert Frey did head upstairs, you noticed, and he came back downstairs with the wine. So you didn't seem to get an answer. Lady Alisane, Lord Barrick, Bessa, Oris is gone, Balin Swan, Garland Tyrell, Maya Stone, Miranda Royce, Blackfish. That's kind of who we're looking at. Anybody still jumping out on that list?
Did Bessa tell us whether or not she was coming back with us or not?
Yes, she certainly did earlier. That's part of why she's been like hooting and hollering at other merchants or other vendors that she sees and stuff like that. But yeah, she very excitedly explained that she has decided to come with you.
Good.
I like to isolate or basically intercept Miranda at some point when she's by herself. I'll just kind of keep my eye open for the opportunity.
Okay. The Blackfish seems to be keeping more of a careful eye on Maya Stone. So Miranda is easily approachable as she, makes her way somewhere to pour a fresh drink or, whatever.
Yeah, so at some point I will intercept her and kind of place an arm on her shoulder. Miranda.
Ah, Sir Lucaris. Rather forward, aren't we?
Well, yes, as you know. I want to thank you for your hospitality and your companionship in town.
Oh, I thought you already had.
Well, maybe not. I just want to let you know that if you need anything, let me know. I consider you a friend, so.
Oh, is that what we are? Friends?
Oh.
What we are, the seven themselves would have to define, but until then, if you need anything, I'm available.
I'll keep your terribly generous offer in mind and stay awake at night thinking about what good friends we are.
Oh, I expect you to stay awake many a nights writing lonesome letters to me. They'll never be delivered. For ravens couldn't carry such heavy words.
Nor read if they were, I don't doubt.
Oh,
Lady Royce.
She's got you in a box there, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of. If I imagined you approved of such sentimentality, you might have seen a little more of it, but I suspect that you are a lot more like me than many would suspect.
I suspect it's not letters from the girls who are far away that are the ones that you're the most likely to care about.
Not their frivolous words, no. But if you ever need anything, seriously, let me know.
Of course.
Lady Royce, you have been quite the challenge as I've been in town, and you have been in town. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ah, such friendships forged in tournaments. And she saunters away with a little bit of a shimmy.
I'll leave her be.
You fool.
And that is what I have to say to her.
You utter fool.
Probably, but hey.
She's like, she's like half of Westeros's dream woman, and you gave her the brush off.
I mean, my intention was not to be like, you need to get going, it's late. But it is what it is, so...
Roses are red, violets are blue. It don't always be like that, but sometimes it do.
Sometimes it do.
All right, folks, we got about 10 minutes to go on this episode.
Ooh, we are running out of time.
Any other particular interactions jumping out at anybody?
Yeah, just like if Adam can get Sir Brendan at a moment when Maya's not around, that would be ideal.
You cannot.
Yeah.
She was not kidding about his watchful hawk-like gaze, I believe she stated.
Or at
He
least-
is definitely shadowing.
Right, or at least when she's not like listening, because I'm about to talk about her. So
That is a little bit easier.
yeah,
She'll be
that's
off.
what
She gets, a table or two away, and he sits still facing her, but she's talking about various horse breeds with Balin Swan and Beric Dondarrion and Edric Dane over there.
sure.
So
Just like
yeah, they are distracted in their conversation. The Blackfish is sitting alone at their table, taking his time with some mulled wine.
So Brendan,
Adam, please have a seat.
thank you. I appreciate how friendly and decent you've been with us while we've been here.
An old man's never been thanked more times for doing less.
Well, given the reception of some people to us, can you blame us?
I suppose perhaps there were a few that were less than charitable with you this week.
True.
That's putting it quite mildly. Yes. I just wanted to ask something that probably doesn't need asking about Maya.
Go ahead.
I mean, this probably comes under your chaperoning duty anyway, but just after what happened the other night, I just want to make extra sure that Michael doesn't get another chance to hurt her.
No, I don't think that he will. She delivered her message fairly clearly, I'm certain.
Good. I didn't speak to him about it or anything, but I tried to do what I could to encourage it to not happen again.
It was gallant of you, lad, but I think she can see to him herself.
Well, yes, that seems to be the case, but I just wanted to be sure because, well, if there of the many things I've learned being here this week, it's that feelings can get in the way of sensible behavior.
Especially in King's Landing, yes.
Yes.
I wouldn't worry about Michael. Everyone's a little shit at least once in their life. It's just that some cling to it a little longer than others.
Well, yes, I can only hope that he loses it before long.
We'll see. Corbray's teaching him to fight well enough that he might cling to little shit for quite some time now.
Well, I don't think there's anything anyone can do about that. We can just, I suppose, hope that my rather ill-timed chastisement perhaps sinks in at some point.
We'll just see how things go, I suppose. But the good news is he's not likely to be terribly near her for some time. They've got much to do on Corbray lands, and they're actually taking a different route home than the rest of us headed towards the Vales. So they
all right.
shouldn't be in one another's hair for quite some time. By the time he might screw up the courage to cross her again, I'm sure he'll have some other girl in his sights anyway.
Right. Well, good chat.
Indeed. Safe travels to you lot, by the way. I
And
don't
you
think
too.
I'll be seeing you before you leave tomorrow, but
Well, safe journey to you as well. I hope you find the Vale exactly as you left it.
I normally do. And he's content to then sit in just kind of companionable silence,
Yeah.
it seems.
Yeah, I wasn't going to kind of do any more
Like
than that.
the oldest and the youngest.
Not counting Edric and Robert yet.
Yeah, Robert's definitely, I think, the youngest. I think he's only like, what, 10 or 11?
He and Edric are kind of an age, but little Robert certainly seems a good deal younger. He's just kind of skinnier and shorter and hasn't been raised to be the Lord of Starfall. He comes off as certainly less prepared for life. But yeah, they're similar of age, you'd guess.
So yeah, Adam's not the actual youngest.
But he's close. Let's see, let's wrap it up. Lady Raina, anything jumping out at you?
I flirt with Miranda as much as she wants to flirt to practice flirting with a woman. I will flirt with Beric if he gives me the option.
He does.
Yeah. And I will be social and the most relaxed I have been at all, ever, since we left home.
All right, then. Let's just kind of fade to black on that note of everyone sitting and hanging out with a couple other NPCs, enjoying drinks and conversation fairly late into the night. So we can kind of imagine that camera doing a slow pan out and away as the warmth of the Greentree is shading the street outside, and the camera kind of lifts up and you see all of King's Landing spread below you. And you know that there are similar heartwarming goodbyes being said everywhere. So yeah, it's a pleasant enough note to end on, especially around the holidays. So we will pick up tomorrow morning in 2 weeks' time as you guys are finalizing your preparations, hitting the road, and heading home to Wyvern's Rest. So, viewers, we will see you next decade for our next episode in approximately 14 days' time. But thank you for hanging out with us. Please enjoy the rest of your holiday seasons. Travel safely anywhere that you're going. Have a good time. Make some fun New Year's resolutions, not just some self-deprecating ones. And we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks.